Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. Lee Honish, Andrew Labouche, Miguel Antonio Barragan, bringing you the wonderful world of boxing. We have had a week off. It is their fault, not mine. And I just wanted to say that out loud since I'm the one recording it. This show is about boxing. We are a couple weeks behind. We'll catch you all up on all the latest news. We will talk about 4 whole fights, maybe 5. You know, who knows? It's a boxing show. So I want to spread it around. Today we will be, throughout the show, the guys can't hear it, but you can. We'll be featuring the music of Men at Work. Can't imagine why, based on what occurred last night, that I'm playing a shitty Australian band from the 80s, and possibly the second band that I can think of out of Australia. I can name 3 bands from Australia. Since this is our Australian show to celebrate George Kambosos fucking over Teofimo Lopez, which makes me so happy I don't even know what to say. Thought I wouldn't be that happy. I'm way happier than I thought I would be. Andrew, can you name another band from Australia? Do I even want to know why I can't hear either of you now? Hello?
I can barely hear you.
Yeah,
you're in and out a lot, Lee.
Great. Mm-hmm. So I can't do the music thing either. Well, all right, kind of
now
a bummer.
I can hear you.
Oh, I'm sure Perfect. You can. I'm not even going to be able to do sound effects today.
Oh, man.
What was the question?
All right, I'll repeat the question. I was featuring the music of Men at Work. One of only 3 bands I could think of out of Australia. The other one being too cool to play, right? Like, you think I'd go automatically to Angus and AC/DC to celebrate Kambosos Day, because that's what today is. Sunday, November 28th is going to be celebrated as George Kambosos Day. It's official. I'm naming it that on Fight Net Radio right now, right here. So I thought I'd play Australian music. Well, AC/DC is too cool for George Kambosos. He's more like Men at Work in my mind. And I'm not a big fan of Midnight Oil. But I couldn't think of anybody else musically from Australia. I don't know what they do down there. Do they just blow into those big things like Aborigines out back and make that noise and that they call it music? Does anyone know? Like, all I'm really doing right now is trying to piss off our producer by saying shitty Australian things. So I'll start with you, Andrew. Say something positive and negative about Australia.
You would probably have to go to the Crocodile Dundee soundtrack for the movie to see what kind of music they actually like, and then we'd have a better clue of what genre we should be playing.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming as an answer. Miguel, would you like to jump right in there?
Well, I mean, I think In Excess is from
yeah,
from
but he
Australia.
hung himself. Somebody brought this up before. I think you're out of the game if you hang yourself for jacking. Like, he was jacking off and hanging himself. Like, I don't know if I can reward that.
I mean, what a way to go, though.
Somehow it seems like we're supporting jacking off and hanging yourself if we support In Excess. Not to mention their music sucks.
All right,
that one actor did that on.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of people. Yeah. There are a lot of people that are into getting choked and fucked. God bless them. It's not my kink. And an automatic
and doing it alone, too.
Well, it's also an automatic, hey, we're going to break up shortly. I mean, after we have sex, but not during. But after we need to have a serious talk about you needing to be choked out nearly to death while I fuck you. It's kind of a deal killer. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it the first time, and I might do it the second time and a third time, but definitely going to break up. That's some seriously fucked up psychological damage that I don't want to deal with. I don't know. Could just be me. Guys are listening to this going, no way, I'd totally be into it. Sure, that's what you want for the mom of your kids. You have fun with that. You have fun with that. You go get your court order. Sorry, I was having a Ghostbusters moment. Shout out to the Return of Ghostbusters this week.
Mama's asleep for a whole other reason in that household.
Yeah. Oops.
She's not waking up for a while.
I cannot. She's got to put makeup on to hide the bruises? What? Come on, people.
She's got to wear a scarf.
It's so hot that she likes to be choked until you break her fucking neck, right? I mean, where does this end? Where
did this show go?
So quickly.
Talking about Australia. And apparently in Australia, you like to be choked and fucked if you're from Australia. That's our message.
That's what we took away from the Kambosos fight.
Yes.
Welcome to George Kambosos Day. Happy Fight Net Radio, George Kambosos Day, November 28th, 2021, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we've discovered that everybody in Australia likes Men at Work or Colin Hay, depending on which way you go. And if you're a woman from Australia, and, you know, I'm sure Sam is probably feverishly typing as we speak going, no, my women don't like to be choked while I fuck them. And I would say, sir, you're probably not fucking really hot Australian women. And, because it's got to start somewhere. Prison Island to begin with. Did you guys know you're all English prisoners, like 4th generation? Just thought I'd say it out loud. Hey, it's George Kambosos Day, and we'll talk about that later on. This show is about boxing and not asphyxiation masturbation. I'm sure there's a term. There's like a real... By the end of the show, I'm going to learn the clinical term for getting choked out while you climax. I'm sure it's... And somebody's probably screaming it directly into their... Like while they're listening to the show. And to you, I say, wow, that you know that term? Wow, sir. Or, you know, maybe our one female listener. Whatever. My name's Lee Honish. We've been doing this show for 14 years. Can you believe that shit? I can't. I certainly thought after we got through off the internet that would be enough. But no, we still keep doing this show. Go figure. What, you say? How do you get thrown off the internet? Same question I asked Andrew when we got thrown off the internet. It takes a lot of skill to get thrown off the internet. But we're here. We're back. We have a website. Go to boxingtonight.io. It's designed for you, the fan, that is tired of all the news from all those news websites. That's right. What are you saying? Where do we get the news from? Everywhere but those news sites. It's a one-of-a-kind thing. My guys are still trying to decide whether or not I'm insane for building a news aggregate that has nothing to do with ESPN, boxing scene, fight news. That's right. It doesn't. It searches all over the web for news and doesn't use any of the major boxing websites. I think it's a unique value proposition. More importantly, at boxingtonight.io, you can get the latest show from us. And if you scroll down even further, you can get I'll be updating it today, the December schedule. We only put up 1 month at a time because it is rather fluid. Just thought I'd say that out loud. Here's how the show works. We rewind the clock. This time I'm going to rewind the clock a week and a half to the last story that we were discussing as a group. Unleash it on the guys. We have one fight that happened along the way, and then we've got 3 or 4 fights to discuss from last night. If you look at the top of the screen, you can keep track. This is like a little counter at the top. If you want to follow those, that'll tell you how much closer you are to the end of this if you're watching the video. And if you're listening to this, look at the timer. Jesus Christ, are you an idiot? See how long the show is? Watch it count down. And why are you listening if you think the show is too long? Fuck you, all right? Why do you think the show's too long, asshole? I'm talking to you, listening right now. Go listen to The Boxing Show where they talk over each other. You know how many years it got here before we stopped talking over each other? Like a decade. Okay. Did I mention it's George Kambosos Day? I just woke up from a nap, so everybody just work with that and my coffee. So, let's just jump right in and get these guys started, shall we? Let's start where Andrew wanted to discuss last, and we didn't discuss it, which is the Makabu Canelo cruiserweight thing that actually gets updated throughout the next week and a half, and we do have updates on this story. So, Andrew, you're the one who literally had an orgasm while typing this.
No, actually, I didn't.
Really? God. I think you did. It was a lot of text, Andrew. You wanted to do a midweek show based on this topic.
Yeah, that was before Terrence Crawford fought. That was before freaking Teofimo Lopez got dethroned last night. Like, come on, man.
What, you want me to just jump to the end? You want to eat the dessert first and work backwards?
Don King has already blocked that fight You'll probably hear in the news coming up.
He didn't block it. He didn't block it. He didn't. Did he petition See, for tells you what you know. I did read the news.
Bullshit. He signed Makabu to fight someone else.
Right. And who's going to be sitting ringside January 22nd?
Don King.
No. Try again. Don King's already said point blank.
I'm telling you, hey, everyone knows right now Don King has some of the most crooked contracts in boxing. You know he's attached to this guy now. They're not going to work with it. Mark my words, Don King is going to ruin Canelo's shot at getting that cruiserweight title, probably because that's the only source of income Don King has. He needs to keep the belt. He don't want to give that to Canelo. He blocked it.
He didn't block it. He wants the fight. He's just trying to drag a payday out of Makabu before he loses his belt.
He's trying to make sure that he gets all of the payday. And
he wants all the payday first, so he's getting a freebie with everybody watching on January 22nd.
But that just means that he's going to let it happen because he wants the payday himself.
You watch. Once they look at Makabu's contract with Don, they're going to want no part of it. None of the networks are going to want to touch this guy. They stopped touching Don a long time ago. Don King does his own shows on pay-per-view. He does none of the networks. Let me see where the
conspiracy line in the show works, Andrew. So I say crazy shit during fights, right? Like last night, I was on a crazy shit kick campaign of fixes, right?
All right. But you watch when it says he takes 99% of Makabu's
but I am to believe your crazy conspiracies.
Isn't going to agree with that.
Don King doesn't own anybody who can make $100 million anymore.
He owns Makabu.
He's now worth $100 million.
Make a few million.
Yeah.
He's going to make a few million.
Right. He's actually going to make a few million on January 22nd just by having Canelo sit ringside before he loses.
There could be something in the contract where it says he co-promotes his next fight. They're not going to want to do that.
What does Don King say right here? What's he say? King says Canelo will be ringside. And when did Don King hire a pet white guy? Did you know you could buy one of those? And why don't you guys get me one for Christmas? Can I get a middle-aged white guy as a pet? Just thought I'd ask out loud. We seem to be into human trafficking on this show by supporting the MTK. But the minute I say, hey, I want a middle-aged white guy to run around my place and be my step and fetch, like Don King appears to have in this photo. Only in America.
He got his hands in it.
This is going to be one action-packed championship. He's praying people tune in to see if Canelo shows up. Come on.
Oh, he's teasing it. He's teasing it.
He's teasing it. He knows. He'll be lucky if he gets 2 or 3 fights out of this. Makabu is a bum. I don't even care what everybody says. It's a big challenge. Right? Everybody has been like vomiting on themselves, speculating that this is just beyond Canelo's reach, which I got to be perfectly honest. No, it's not. It's fucking Makabu. They fucking manufactured this guy. He's not a real champion. It's another WBC bullshit. Don King, who's 108 years old, right? The living skeleton with a pet white man, by the way, from the photo, is clearly just trying to cash in on this kid. He's not going to fuck up Canelo, Andrew. Come on. It's the biggest payday he will get.
Bro, you're not listening. Co-promote. That's what they're not going to want to have partner. And no one's going to want Don King involved in the business side of that fight. I'm not saying that he's going to stop it. They're going to see what kind of contract he has with Makabu, and they're going to walk. That's what I'm saying. It's happened before. This has happened to Don King before. He's been blackballed. If you guys didn't know, Don King was one time one of the biggest promoters in the sport. Today, he's a fucking nobody that really only gets airtime in Africa. We talked about Don King a few weeks ago. There was something in South Africa that was going on that they put out a press release. Oh, it's great news to have Don. And we were like, does anyone know over there that Don King's been blackballed here in America for like fucking decades now? And then Makabu signs with them this coming week. I mean, come on. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, Don King, not a good reputation here in the States. Usually don't do business with that man.
Miguel, can you do anything in the ballpark of what he just did?
No, I just like the fact that Andrew said they stopped touching Don a long time ago. I like that. I like that phrase.
Do you have first-hand knowledge? Was he blackballed?
That was 5 minutes ago, Miguel, and you're still stuck on that.
I was patiently waiting for that.
He said, touch. All right, fine. Let's move forward. Terrence Crawford drops Sean Porter twice. Stops him in the 10th. All right, let's talk about a week ago. We went out to Vegas for some drastically bad shows. I will admit to that. And lost a laptop over it, Andrew. My $2,000 laptop literally fried Saturday morning or Sunday. I tried to update it to don't even get me started, dude. On the trip without a laptop. Like the first time I traveled in my life without a laptop. And it just shit the bed on me. So I had to actually be on real vacation in Vegas, believe it or not. It screwed up. I had to make a presentation on Saturday. It shit at the live event that we did on Friday night. It shit on Saturday. It barely, we had to bring a different computer to watch it on Saturday night, which is a Google book, Chromebook, which is not a computer, people. It's just not. But we did watch the fight, and we were able to watch it with Eddie Yeagan, the Filipino Flash, UFC fighter. Killian was there, and lots of interesting feedback. So the most interesting feedback happened early in the fight at the table from the Filipino Flash, Eddie Yeagan, where Miguel and I enjoyed Eddie Yeagan's insight a great deal. I think it was escaped by the rest of the table. I think Fred overate. Killian was into the fight, and so was Miguel. So the first noticeable thing about Sean Porter in this fight, he came out really tight, really excited, and really exerted a lot of nervous energy for about the first, would you say, Miguel, 3 or 4 rounds, it looked like. I mean, he just came out and threw everything he had in those first early rounds, hoping to do something. And by the time he settled down, it turned into the Terrence Crawford show. And if you go by Terrence Crawford's description, and I will, it was an easy fight. I felt I could do anything I wanted in the ring. Well, then let's ask Sean Porter what he thought after the fight, because he's fought both of the quote-unquote pound-for-pound guys in this weight class. His exact words were, well, Errol Spence is a very good fighter, but I felt I could survive 12 rounds with him. He goes, Terrence Crawford is a different human being. He goes, he hits hard. He hits really hard, and he's constantly coming at you. We'll start with you, Andrew Labouche. Tell me all about what you thought and saw when you watched Terrence Crawford become the man.
Crawford won. We all expected him to win the fight. He looked good. Sean Porter's biggest issue going into this fight is that he's a little too careless when he throws. And you know what he was doing early, that wasn't a surprise to me. Sean Porter is that type of fighter. He just brings it all. He throws everything but the kitchen sink, I guess is how they say it, at you. And that's what he tried to do at Crawford, and it just didn't get him anywhere. Crawford was able to either block or take everything that Porter was giving, kept picking his shots coming back, and ultimately broke him down, because that's, most of the time the skilled boxer is always going to beat the wild puncher, the athlete, I guess you'd say. And we've always described Porter more as an athlete than a boxer. That showed last Saturday when Crawford stopped them. So, you could say it was one of the most dominating performances of Crawford's career. Got to take a little bit of that away when about an hour later, Sean Porter, and I know Al Heyman told him to do it, retires. Now, does this mean retirement? Does it mean it's going to hold? No. But I think that was a setup to make, like right now, Crawford needs to really sit down with whoever's in his team, all of his smart guys in his team. If you feel he doesn't have anyone that's smart enough to make this decision, he needs to go out and get some help on this, because he has a big decision coming up. But the fact that Porter came out and retired about an hour after the decision or the fight was over, kind of plays into Spence's favor, I think, when they go to the negotiating table, especially if both men are fighting under the PBC at this time.
Well, there you go. Miguel Antonio Barragan, what did you learn from the fight and the keen insight of the table you sat at and what you saw on the screen?
Well,
or was the barbecue just that good that your eyes rolled into the back of your head?
The boiled egg or whatever the hell it was.
The egg, whatever that egg was.
Whatever that egg was.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, during that show, the show that we taped prior to that, I guess the radio show that we did before, where I called it basically, I figured it was going to be a knockout. I felt like Terrence was going to come out here to try to make a point and make an example of Porter and try to finish him to the point where he's like, you know what, I'm going to show these motherfuckers I can take this dude out. Garcia couldn't do it. Danny Garcia couldn't do it. Spence couldn't do it. Thurman couldn't do it. Kell Brook couldn't do it. These guys couldn't do it. And he was going to be, he had like almost like that was just set in his mind that he was going to be the one to do it. Now, to touch on what Andrew said earlier, it does kind of take away a little bit of the win, the fact that that Porter fucking retires, right afterwards. And it's like, we're going to look back at this and be like, but he was already out the door. It's like, it takes a little bit away from the victory. He came out guns blazing the way we kind of anticipated. And truthfully, what I wanted to see, because I did want to see how Crawford would react to someone like Porter, who was going to be in his face, who was going to be throwing and was going to be there basically every minute of the fight. And I mean, Jesus Christ, he passed with flying colors. Yeah, it was a little bit is taken away from the victory because of Porter's retirement, but I mean, this is the biggest victory at welterweight, at least for Crawford, and it shows like, okay, yeah, this is it means something. Forgetting that Porter announced his retirement afterwards, but it's like, damn, he fucking finished him. I certainly wasn't liking the comments that Porter's dad was talking about. That was mentioning after the fight, talking about my son wasn't prepared right or some other. Like, dude, don't just stop. He fucking got beat. Call it a day and leave it alone. But I mean, it does. Now back to the question is like, damn, it's fucking Crawford just took out Porter, finished him, and something that a lot of other welterweights couldn't do. Like, damn, you don't want to put him over Spence necessarily because Spence has fought everybody else essentially. But damn, it's just we're at the point where this fight needs to happen, and I sure as hell hope it does happen. But damn, what a victory by Crawford. I called it. It was gonna be a 10-round KO, but.
And you know what, Miguel, it's all right to put Crawford over Spence. Listen, these guys were not in the same ballpark when Crawford entered the welterweight division. Crawford enters the welterweight division already on the pound-for-pound ranking and takes out Jeff Horn, who beat Manny Pacquiao. So Crawford's already the man at welterweight. This whole bullshit PBC push that made Spence number one, that's all done by fans. When you look up on the paper of who beat the man, it was Jeff Horn who beat Pacquiao, and then Crawford beat Jeff Horn. All of these PBC guys, I mean, seriously, they've all been getting destroyed every time they step out of their promoter from behind their promoter's skirt. Al Heyman, they're getting touched up bad. No, I think Spence is a total bust. I think he's fake. I think Crawford would destroy him. That's why he has a fucking excuse. First it was get a belt, got a belt. Then it's you're on the wrong side of the street. Now it's pay-per-view buys. It's coming, you guys. You already seen his fucking tweet. 190,000, which is bad. We'll talk about it. It is bad. But that should have nothing to do with Spence pulling out of the fight or not. This fight makes the most money for Spence right now. There's not a bigger fight for him. The fact that he's running from it because he's saying that he wants, a 80-20 or whatever he was calling for the other day, it's another duck job. The Charlos duck everyone. Spence has been ducking Crawford. Like, no, man. It's sad. But we have to put the pressure on Spence. He's the one that doesn't want the fight. Crawford, listen, if they're naming two streets, Crawford's on Hall of Fame Way, and motherfucking Spence is on Front Street. All of those dudes are on Front Street. They've been getting their asses kicked every time they step out of the PBC stable, or they just don't take a fight at all. It is not a bad thing to say Crawford's over Spence right now. Hey, check He always has been, Spence. He's always been above you. It ain't going to change.
Crawford, so many people told me they don't know how to get ESPN app, didn't buy Porter fight. Okay, first of all, what ignorant motherfuckers do you know, Crawford?
It's his entourage, his Nebraska. Where the hell is
you
he
know,
from?
the fact that Keith Heidick wrote this story is actually kind of amusing to me. Okay, so it was $70. You had to have the ESPN app, and you had to buy it through the ESPN app. And I'd like to tell you that the group that I took to the restaurant bought it on the ESPN app, which would be a complete lie. Shout out to our sponsor, VIPFrontRow.net. Okay, so reportedly, they didn't have a whole lot of buys. Do you buy into the fact that people are ignorant and can't operate an app, Andrew?
No. No, I'm not. I don't know what's going on there, Lee. Because, look, this fight you would have thought was big in the PBC fan base. The PBC fan base that's been dying for Spence to step up and fight Crawford for so long. This is all that's talked about in the chat rooms. You'd think they would have been interested in this fight. Now, I don't know what the streaming numbers are, if they're ever going to release this or come back with, 1 million people were on Facebook Live watching it. I really don't know. It's one of the saddest pay-per-view numbers I've ever seen in our sport for a guy that we say is top 3 pound for pound in the world, if not number 1. Some of the saddest numbers I've ever seen. You also got to plays into effect if ESPN and Bob Arum already knew that Crawford was going to walk, and they're trying to ruin his reputation a little. I have no evidence. I'm just throwing shit out there because the number was so small. 190,000 buys for one of the best fights the hottest division in boxing could give us.
Didn't exceed 150, actually, Andrew.
Yeah, there you go. It's a real black eye for the sport.
I will say this: the first time when ESPN Plus just came out, and there was a pay-per-view on it, like a UFC pay-per-view, I had no fucking clue how to purchase the damn pay-per-view. Like, I had no idea. I saw ESPN Plus, and I was like, okay, cool. That means it's free, I guess. It's on ESPN Plus. I'm already paying for the subscription, and that's a no. And then I tried looking for it, like, on my cable provider or satellite provider, and they weren't showing us. I'm like, what the fuck? How the hell can I order this shit? I had no idea that ESPN Plus pay-per-view was something completely different. However, after I got over that hump, then it was cake. They'll let you know on every step of the way, go to this link. This is how you can buy it. It's all over the main fucking page. So this sounds like bullshit because, really, you go to the main page and it's going to be there.
Hold on. Let's rethink this for just a split second, shall we? Realistically, we're talking about PBC fans, right? They're the core fan base for this. And what Terrence Crawford is saying, PBC fans, all of you, you're stupid and can't operate the ESPN app. Or, his friends, but I'm going to go with PBC people because I just like poking fun at them. I would like to believe the PBC fans are too stupid to operate an app. I would.
What hurts?
Okay, go ahead.
Andrew?
Real fast. What hurts Terrence Crawford is his numbers when they weren't on the ESPN app on pay-per-view weren't that good. This wasn't a big drop-off from what he did with Benavidez, and there was one other fight I believe they had on pay-per-view for him that the numbers never reached over 200,000. So, Bob Arum said it a long time ago. He wasn't a draw. He does nothing on social media.
That's exactly what he said. Joining us on the show right now, Andrew, to answer your questions, the 347-year-old top-ranked Bob is now joining the show. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Very good.
All right, let me clarify the situation because it is rather fluid with Terrence Crawford. First of all, don't sleep on Sean Porter. All right, that's a tremendous fighter, and he's welcome to any stable, just not my stable, unless it's a stable I own, and therefore shoveling out that stable. And therefore, he's perfect for that stable. Now, with all of that said, I think my exact words were, Terrence Crawford is a single. By the way, you can look that up. I'm pretty positive I got that right. He always refers to Terrence Crawford as a single. Always. Like, he talks in baseball terms, like he's Casey Stengel or something. But the reality is, Bob for a while has said Terrence Crawford is not a huge moneymaker. Period. Right, Andrew?
Yes.
And
here's another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's another one. What if the PBC lies about their pay-per-view buys and the division isn't as hot as people thought it was?
Yeah, that's another one. I was thinking, PBC and PBC fans are like 1,000% behind Deontay Wilder, and when he fought Fury, they did 600,000 something along those buys, which I think also was the ESPN Plus pay-per-view. So I'm pretty sure PBC fans know how to fucking do, how to order a pay-per-view, unless of course they are inflated, like we just said.
Well, I will go back to what I constantly say on this topic, which is, how many cans do you have to collect for $70 for pay-per-view? Just saying it out loud. You guys aren't jumping on board with that one.
How many rocks do you have to sell?
Fine. Yeah, how many rocks do you have to sell is actually way more
Lee, when you're talking about the top three best fighter in the world, boxing don't have a problem selling tickets or pay-per-views, right?
I'll say it. Terrence Crawford is not one of the top three. He's not a money-making draw.
Well, actually,
we keep having this debate on this show, and I'll keep saying
he is.
Andrew, I've been saying it for a long time. He's not a draw. Nothing at the welterweight division is a draw.
Okay,
nobody knows who Errol Spence is. Nobody knows who Terrence Crawford is.
A draw and a star are two different things. A draw and a star are two different things. But what I'm telling you is, most of the time, our stars are draws in this sport. Yes, they are. The guys that are the best fighters in the world in boxing usually sell the big price tickets front row. So Terrence Crawford has issues because of something else. It's not boxing. It's Bob Arum points to Terrence Crawford, right?
Once again, he's got no personality.
No personality. There's a few videos out there of him not being the nicest guy. There's a video of him throwing a block party too. Don't get it twisted. He did the whole block party thing for 4th of July, I believe it was. That was a nice scene. But then we've had the crimes, right? The court cases. We had his wife in an altercation just before this fight. They're on the social media getting into a fight at a beauty salon. I don't know who Terrence Crawford is in Nebraska. I don't know what his reputation is like over there. Really don't see too much of him on Instagram or Facebook. So that could play into effect here. Biggest thing is the fight's not as big as we thought it was, you guys. It really isn't. 190 or 130,000 buys for this fight that we're claiming is like the Leonard Hearns of this era. No, it's not. No, it is not.
I think we set the overs and unders at 150,000, and I was the only one who took the unders. So I would say that I got it exactly right, Andrew.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, thumbs up for Lee getting it exactly right. I don't know what that means. It's still a black eye for boxing.
No, it's not a black eye, Andrew. Nobody knows him. He's not Tyson Fury. He's not Deontay Wilder.
Qualified to be a black guy. That's how minuscule.
So we built
He's
this
just
fight in the
another guy in
years
boxing.
To come to the conclusion that it's absolutely dick.
Yeah.
It definitely is not what we hoped it was going to be, because I was anticipating this shit at least reaching the 500K mark. Like, that's really what I thought. I figured it wasn't going to surpass Canelo's, so I was like, all right, cool. But we'll do the 500K, but goddamn.
Yeah, you got to think of some of these PBC pay-per-views that they claim make freaking 100 and something thousand buys. Okay, the PBC has put out Berto on pay-per-view. They put Virgil Ortiz.
Oh no! They've been lying about their numbers for years.
You would have thought that Crawford versus one of the best PBC stable guys they have, one of the best, would have done better than 130. I'm sorry, I would have went over every time. It's sad. Terrence Crawford really needs to think about heading over to Al Heyman, because Al Heyman holds all the fucking marbles in that negotiating on both of those fighters. What are they going to tell him? What are they going to demand?
Well,
at those numbers, ESPN might not even want the fight.
Well, here's the argument from Top Rank Bob himself. Why, we'll just have Terrence Crawford fight Josh Taylor. Right?
That's beautiful.
So as of Monday, Terrence Crawford is a promotional free agent. For those of you who didn't know that, this past week he became a promotional free agent. And Bob stepped right in and said, listen, the best fight out there for Crawford, the biggest moneymaker, we'll get behind it, blah, 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 is Josh Taylor versus Terrence Crawford. I don't know what kind of money you'd have to offer Crawford to basically risk losing his O to make this fight happen. And again, you'd probably have to have the fight in England where people will fill a stadium to see Josh Taylor fight, right? So I start with you, Andrew. Would this be enough for Crawford to stay with Bob for one more fight?
It's listen, what it sounds like is Bob only wants to work with him on a fight-to-fight basis.
Yeah.
That's also scary territory for Crawford.
He's a single.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Crawford wants to go that route either, but I do agree. Josh Taylor holds all the marbles from junior welterweight down to lightweight. Yes, sir. He is the man right now.
What about you, Miguel? Is this enough?
I don't think so, because I mean, let's look at this like realistically. We know that the only way he's going to get paid like top fucking dollar is if he goes overseas to fight him.
That's right.
I don't think Crawford's going to do that shit. I think his ego's going to get in the way. He's like, no, fuck that. I realize he's the number one dude at the smaller weight classes, 140, but I'm the man at 147. Fuck that. If we're going to make it, we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen here. If it does happen here, it's going to do equal or less fucking pay-per-view buys and this shit. It's going to be even worse than Porter and Crawford. So, I mean, I don't think he's willing to do it. I think he's looking for the big bucks. He's looking for the big fights, and I don't think Josh Taylor is it. Although I would love to see it, of course, because we're like, it would be a badass fucking scrap. I'd be down for that one, hella. But I mean, realistically, looking at what Crawford, I mean, what he's done, he's not. It's almost. I mean, it sucks to call it that, and I don't mean any disrespect on Taylor, but it's almost a step back. He's going to have to go overseas there to make money and not do it here in his hometown where he feels the fight should probably take place because he is the man, now at least. But no, I don't think he's going to stick around. I mean, he's going to do – I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford tries to do the Canelo thing. He just kind of like does his own fucking thing. He's going to sign one fight here, one fight there, and, I'm sure that he's going to go that route. I don't think he's going to stick around with Bob any longer.
There you go. Did we cover this? Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
It seems like a lot of fighters are going to be having to go overseas here. Listen, Kambosos might be, and I'm not jumping, I'm just giving where they're at. Kambosos might be bigger in Australia for American fighters than he is here. You'll make more money because you're double-ending the deal. And the TVs will buy it here, but will the fans buy the seats at the high prices? I don't know. I can't guarantee you. Lopez was a victim of thinking he was fucking hot shit when he wasn't. Inoue might be a more lucrative deal to go to Japan to fight Inoue than to have Inoue fight here. You're looking at Josh Taylor, Anthony Joshua. Like right now, the money might not be here in the States anymore. The fans aren't showing up. I don't know if you guys noticed last night. There was fans in that arena. They weren't loud. They weren't on, and I'm talking for Figueroa, Fulton. They weren't loud. They weren't on their feet.
Yeah.
It was really weird, the atmosphere that was in that place for the fight that those men gave to them. But
I think that undercard was pretty like meh. So obviously, I feel like the fans they weren't up for it. The undercard didn't do any favors to try to pick them up. I mean, I thought you meant the New York crowd with Teofimo and Kambosos.
No, but that
that one. Holy shit, man! That was a flat ass crowd. I'm talking about the Fulton and Figueroa.
Yeah.
Park MGM went out and got people off the strip. I don't know how else they filled that room. Like, I can't even believe that they had a price tag on those tickets. They had to be giving them away.
So right now, Josh Taylor is huge over there. His market only went up with the loss of Teofimo Lopez last night. Kambosos, great fighter. Don't know if he has the size. I didn't know if Lopez had the size to move up. Josh Taylor, I mean, that's an undisputed matchup there in the UK. That's going to be huge, man. And it will get bought here in the States. They're still going to get their money here in the States. I think Terrence at least needs to look at it while he looks at the Spence fight. Because Spence, we all know now, Terrence Crawford does not get money from both sides of the fence, right? He's only getting money from what they say is his Nebraska fan base. They don't even think anyone out of Nebraska is paying attention to this guy right now.
Are there people in Nebraska?
There you go, Lee. It's about 130,000 TVs, put it that way. And they all bought Terrence Crawford's fight, but he ain't getting shit anywhere else. You look at Spence. Spence has the PBC fan base, but who else is really going to pay attention to this night? This is not Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns. There will not be record-breaking gambling going on when Crawford Spence get in the ring together. So I don't think that fight is as big as we thought it was. Just Josh Taylor versus Crawford in the UK, that might be their greatest fight of all time without it being a heavyweight. It could be that big for Terrence Crawford.
Only time will tell what happens to Crawford next. Moving forward, Tyson Fury on his next opponent. It's who's available and what makes sense later on. Tyson Fury has been asked repeatedly who he's going to fight, when does he want to fight him. Names keep getting tossed around. And his exact words, I'm just chilling and enjoying life, taking one day at a time and enjoying myself. I'm not really interested in discussing what I want, because to be honest, it doesn't really make sense who I want to fight at this moment. It's who's available and what makes sense later on. In other words, he's not answering the question. The topic will come up again later on, but still we have nothing. Are we all in agreement that this poor fool's going to fight Dillian Whyte in England, and that the rest of this is just people masturbating on their keyboards? I start with you, Miguel.
Yeah, of course it is. That's it. I mean, that's precisely what he's referring to. I mean, it's not about who he wants to fight. Why? Because when we're talking about who he wants to fight, it's either, AJ or fucking Usyk. Well, that's not going to happen, right? Well, I mean, the rematch with them is going to happen, so he's going to have to wait. So obviously he's not going to want to wait around. He's had some issues with, mental issues in the past, with mental health, and he's said it many times himself. He doesn't like being out of the ring too long. He wants to be as active as he possibly can be, and he's in the gym to some degree. So I don't think he's going to want to stick around and just wait and let time pass until Usyk and Anthony Joshua rectify what they got going on there. But I mean, I'm almost positive he's going to want to take a fight between now and whenever that fight gets done. And who's most likely is going to end up happening is going to be what did you just say right now, Lee? Dillian Whyte. Yeah, Dillian Whyte. It's going to most likely be Dillian Whyte. Yeah.
You guys were right.
Okay.
You guys are right. Dillian Whyte is going to get fucked again. Stick with those guns, because it's probably going to happen. I believe the WBC has already announced that Tyson Fury, while waiting for the Usyk Joshua winner, can face whoever the fuck he wants again. Dillian Whyte is not the mandatory anymore.
Call up Otto Wallin again. Call it on.
Yeah.
Otto Wallin.
And I believe Tyson Fury is already going down the path of, if I don't get Joshua or Usyk, I'm retiring. And I believe that we talked about we talked about the trilogy being his peak, and without without it being a $40 million, $50 million payday and another legacy notch on his belt there, he might not be all up for it. And we talked about the mindset of Tyson Fury. Hey, he might be a guy that doesn't get up for little fights anymore.
It's about being on the grind. Nobody likes being on the grind. I stick to my story. Nobody likes being on the grind. People who like going to the gym and doing that shit over and over are not mentally stable people. The grind is awful. I'll say it for the room. I know most of you who listen to this show are going, oh, but he's getting paid $40 or $50 million. Yeah, that gets old once you have $40 or $50 million. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest. He's got enough money to retire. Like, what else is there? He's beaten everybody. He's the guy who stopped Klitschko. He's arguably working on being the greatest for the decade at heavyweight. Like, he doesn't have much left. He's got to beat Usyk. He'll kill Usyk. He's just way too big for Alexander Usyk. I mean, just way too big. I don't even know how Usyk would even be in that fight. So what's that leave you? AJ? Please. AJ has got more mental health problems than everybody else combined. It's just the reality of the heavyweight division. So I don't blame him for wanting to take his ball and going home. He should pull a Klitschko. He should retire champion Emiratis, only to come back when he feels like it, when they dangle a big pot of money in front of him, quote-unquote retire as the champion Emiratis, and then stick his dick back into the pond whenever he wants. I can already see this happening, Andrew.
Yeah, listen, I'm still kind of nervous about Joshua not having a trainer and this whole rematch thing supposedly taking place early next year. I have doubts about that. I really think if Tyson Fury pushes hard enough that he's not going to fight anyone else for under 40 million, and if they're not giving him 40 million, then he's walking. I think they get Joshua. They talk Joshua out of the fight. I think it's the best move for Anthony Joshua too himself if he's really going to a new trainer. So I'm going to stick with Joshua is going to give up that rematch, and then Tyson Fury and Usyk happen early next year.
Miguel?
Well, I mean, at this point we know. Well, we can all pretty much agree that Tyson Fury is the number one, heavyweight in the world. He doesn't necessarily need to beat AJ. We know he's going to most likely beat Usyk if they end up fighting. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he calls it quits and just basically, like you said, takes his ball and go home. But I don't know. There's something about Tyson that I don't feel like he's ready to call it a career yet. I mean, I feel almost like he's going to do it as a favor to fucking Dillian White and be like, all right, dude. Here's your fucking last payday, another fellow Brit or, Englishman, here's the last payday and keep me busy. It's one of those COVID fights that we're talking about. I'm still convinced that he's gonna, if no one else, he's gonna do his fellow countrymen a solid and give him that shot.
Oh, aren't you cute that you think that? Like there's some kind of honor amongst boxers. There's no honor amongst boxers. They're all shitbags.
Amongst countrymen.
Hey, Battle of the Sexes. Clarissa Shields offers pathetic Jake Paul $100,000 for a sparring match. Joining us on the show is longtime contributor Clarissa Shields. Hey.
Oh, welcome back, Clarissa. We missed you.
Hey. He isn't even going to take the offer to come spar with me. Hey. Okay, that's the end of that story. Cool. Moving forward. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. returns to the ring. Yes, you've been waiting for this announcement on pins and needles just like me, hoping that this pile of crap would show back up, and he did. How fantastic is that shit? He's going to fight a guy named David Zagara. Do we even want to look this up on BoxRec to see how bad this is?
That? Yeah, let's please.
Okay.
And where is the fight going to take place? In Mexico and another gym?
Yeah. What? Nobody's booking this in an actual arena. David Zaraga is 37 years old, and he's from Peru with a record of 34-6. Okay. And he's never... Oh, he lost
losing streak
to David Lemieux. He lost to Hertel. He lost to Ali Akhmedov. Has he beaten anybody with a name? Like, he loses to nobodies. You know what? I still like his chances of beating Chavez Jr. He's been in the ring with more champions. I'll just say it out loud. All right, let's just pre-bet this on December 18th, since apparently he's not even giving himself any time to train for this fight. Basically announced literally 6 days ago.
It's a waste of airtime.
Yeah, is it?
What weight class is it going to be at? Is it going to be like cruiserweight or some shit at this
heavyweight?
point?
Let's see. What weight is this guy at? Super middleweight. It's super middleweight. Does he want Canelo money?
Oh, he already had a Canelo money. Fuck that.
Well, I mean, if he wins this is put him in contention to get a shot at the Canelo sweepstakes.
He's not gonna. I predict he's gonna be looking at the referee, complaining about headbutts and shit, just because. That's the thing now. That's your shtick.
Come on, Andrew. You want to comment on Chavez Jr.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's going to watch. We're wasting people's time with this.
Are we?
Someone's fast-forwarding our show right now.
I don't think so.
Chavez Jr.,
I don't
are you
think
serious?
so. I think that's exactly why they listen to our show.
No,
that's what I think.
No.
Andy Ruiz expects to fight and beat Deontay Wilder. Let's just stop right there. I could care about the rest of this sentence. Andy Ruiz, yes, I do. And I think it would be an amazing fight, said Ruiz. We're both part of the same team, Al Heyman's PBC, and it's all business. I wouldn't mind getting into the ring with him, and I feel I could beat him. We got to get it on. I thought it was an awesome fight. They went back and forth, and I don't know who was going to win. Deontay, really? You don't? What fight were you watching? I mean, at no point did maybe early I thought Deontay might have had a small window in there. But after that, I don't think that there was at any point after, correct me on this, Miguel, the third round, it was anything but Tyson Fury for the rest of the fight.
Whatever round it was that he was knocked down in.
That was the last of it. Like, that was the
that was
last hurrah of Deontay Wilder. So let's talk about this. We've talked about Deontay coming back in a big money-making fight since he's got to make at least probably $10 million. Is this fight worthwhile, and does it draw butts in seats and eyes to pay-per-view? I start with you, Miguel.
I mean, I feel it does. These guys are recognizable names. People know who Deontay is. People know who Ruiz is. I mean, I don't know. See, here's the thing. I don't know if it goes as far as to say pay-per-view. I mean, knowing Wilder, I'm not sure if he'd be willing to take a fight that is a pay-per-view, but I don't think this merits a pay-per-view, price tag on it. Put it on Showtime or some shit like that. I'm sure it'll get crazy fucking views, and do it on a weekend where Showtime is doing a free preview weekend or some shit like that, right? To get as many eyes as possible.
That you say it out loud. I was thinking it has to be one step above Showtime, but what about getting a Fox slot on a Sunday evening or a Saturday afternoon?
There you go. Yeah.
Right? Like real mainstream eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's doable. People know these guys' names, and it's a great opportunity for both these guys. Obviously Ruiz getting back in there and getting a victory over a big name like Wilder, and should Wilder win, he's got himself a victory over a guy who's defeated AJ. So I mean, it's something. It's meaningful. It is. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to really get either one of them a spot at the top, with a victory over one another. But I mean, I would totally be down for this one. I still feel it's a little bit too much of a risk for Wilder. Wilder needs like a confidence booster type of fight before fighting somebody who is like Ruiz, who can bang. He does throw. People look at him and they even to this day, talk about his weight. And when we take a look at him and you kind of like judge a book by its cover, even though we're not supposed to, we totally do it anyway. And I'm pretty sure Wilder would think the exact same thing. It's like, oh, this motherfucker got fat for that rematch with AJ. I can take him out. You know what I'm saying? But I would be down to watch this fight. Of course, I would be rooting for Ruiz, absolutely. But I mean, yeah, pay-per-view, no. I would say free TV, definitely.
Andrew.
Yeah, this fight will happen if Deontay's trying to make the same money that he was, making with the Tyson Fury trilogy. To be in the ballpark, you got to be on pay-per-view, and you got to have a name that sells. Andy Ruiz fits that bill because he works already for Al Heyman. I see this fight getting made. Him and Areola were on pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Al Heyman, I mean, they're not scared to put these guys on pay-per-view. Seems like the PBC fan base will respond to Wilder. So yeah, I see it getting done.
All right, moving forward, Gervonta Davis, the guy who wouldn't have a career if it weren't for being on the undercard of all of Floyd Mayweather's cards. Gervonta Davis, who still to this date hasn't fought anybody. Keith Thurman is not worth mentioning anymore. He's past his time. Correct me, because you guys are far more boxing guys than I. But that would be the biggest name that he's fought to date if he fights Keith Thurman, right? Like, Keith Thurman is a bigger name than Gervonta. Keith Thurman has been in more high-profile fights than Gervonta Davis. Keith Thurman clearly blows Al Heyman. So what is Gervonta Davis smoke? Like, does he just not want to fight anyone that might be a risk ever? Like, I'm over the Gervonta Davis experiment. And the worst part is the PB/TMT fans all seem to think that this guy falls into that Errol Spence supernatural category of, oh, this fucking guy can go. Yeah, you know what? Anyone can go against shitty opponents. Anyone, including me. I swear to God, if I won $134 million in the lottery, I'm literally going to pick someone on this team randomly and make him 20-0 and make him a contender for a WBC belt. Because that's all he is. It's all bullshit. I'm tired of the PBC bullshit. If I've learned anything from this weekend, it's all bullshit. The PBC is bullshit. It's built on bullshit. Yep. It's a straight up fucking Ponzi ass front that we all got sucked into, and the only one who made any money was Al Heyman, and everybody else can just go suck a dick. I mean, that's just the bottom line to this. And Gervonta Davis.
But actually, no, I take offense to that. Fight Net Radio has been telling the boxing world
you
that
have
was this era Don King since the fucking thing got
straight
started.
up, Andrew. You've been on it since day one, and I fought it, and I fought it, and I fought it, and I fought it, and finally, after this weekend, I went, "Fuck the PBC." I'm with you now. Like, I begrudgingly watched Showtime last night with you guys. Like, I was more like you, like, fuck these two guys. I'm done. And Fulton didn't disappoint, right? I swear to God. Figueroa was it was a good fight, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But overall, fuck that fight. Like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care about now they're trying to put all the belts onto one guy and shuffle it so they have undisputed guys. Hey, you know what? Fuck you for waiting this long. How long you been in business promising to make those fights? I'm so over this shit. And this TMT PBC hybrid, Gervonta Davis, is one of the biggest pile of shits in the pile. I swear to God, he's Errol Spence Jace, for God's sakes. Who have you fought, fucker? Go fight Keith Thurman. Go make $1 million. Show us all. Knock him out in the first round. Teach everyone a lesson. There you go. You know what Crawford did with his opportunity? Sure, nobody watched it, but he took care of his business, and he beat the motherfucking guy. He didn't bitch about the quality of his opponent. Gervonta Davis. Fucking hate him. I fucking hate
You want to take that first, Miguel?
I'd give myself the air horn, by the way. I felt that was air horn worthy. If
we could do the sound effects.
Fuck him, fuck Mayweather, fuck Heyman, fuck all of them.
I mean, first off, Thurman. Thurman. If Thurman's too big for him, I mean, it's just there's no point. I mean, if it's just for the sake of fighting somebody who's more of a name, he'd be better off fighting someone who's closer to his weight class and not a fucking welterweight, damn near junior middleweight at this point, Keith Thurman. So, I mean, I think these guys have been like mouthing off one another for a while now, and I think it's just a matter of nothing's going to happen. It's one of those things where they feel safe that the fight is not going to actually happen because obviously weight classes. But I mean, it's we're at the point where we're a little already tired of Gervonta. Like, he needs to fucking start fighting somebody now. And based off of what Floyd said in the last fight during the post-fight press conference, is that he's going to try to keep Gervonta Davis's fights in-house. That's the term that he used, in-house. Which, I mean, in reality, Keith Thurman is. Is another PBC guy. But I mean, it'd be better suited for Gervonta if he just goes after a dude that's closer to his weight class. We'll see how things go with fucking Cruz, after this next weekend comes around before we start talking about it, fighting someone of a name like Thurman, or even going up a weight class for someone like Thurman. But yeah, I mean, after this fight with Cruz, we have to fucking see Gervonta get some bigger names at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, hold on. As a personal note, yeah, go ahead, Andrew. No, go ahead.
Experiment is not the word we use for him anymore. He is a 5-time world champion in 3 divisions. This is what they say. This is the shit they push. 5-time world champion, 3 division. He's 25-0 with 24 knockouts. The experiment is over. Gervonta Davis is a duck. That's what he is. He ducks everyone. He ducked the whole lightweight fucking division. Everyone in the lightweight's ready to bang with this guy. These fights make him a rich young man, but he don't want them. He don't want them because Leonard Ellerby and Floyd and Al say, oh, but they ain't gonna make you 20 million, so we're not gonna do it, even though those fights make him a rich young man today. He might make 5 million, 10, 8 million in each one of those things. They won't do it because they're not making the Floyd money. No, that makes you a duck. That don't make you a smart businessman. Those opponents make you the richest checks that you could get today. That's your top out. I know everyone wants to be Floyd. Everyone wants to be, but you can't be Floyd. You have to take what's in front of you at that moment. Gervonta Davis is taking none of it. They literally tell their fans they're fucking ducks. They're not fighting those guys. We only go after these guys because they make big money, and we're going to make big, and everything's about money. Look at my fucking calculator, and when I do my calculator, it tells me this. That's all they talk about. Finances, finances, finances. He's a fucking duck. That's what you got to call Gervonta Davis from now on. And Spence is a fucking duck. Both of them, for years, have been ducks. The Charlos, those fucking brothers, I have seen punked twice outside of the ring. Daniel Jacobs punked them both in the fucking back hallway of some fight. And the other day, Jarrett Hurd slapped one of the brothers. He slapped him. And the guy had nothing. They're all fucking fronts. They're all ducks. They love their belts. They love Al Heyman giving them $1 million check so they can. And I love it, you guys. You guys are richer than me. You guys, the kids are all doing good. I get it. I get all that. But in this fight game, where we're talking about legacy, when we're talking about the greatest fighters of all time, you motherfuckers are ducks. Ha! Don't give a shit about your finances.
All right, so in the running for today's title, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a PBC fighter.
Yes.
It's a PBC fighter, right?
Yeah.
That's a good title, right? Right?
Yeah,
That's strong. That's strong. Well, let's talk about somebody else that seems to think he's getting ducked. It's Gennady Golovkin. He says the Canelo trilogy is possible, but he doesn't dwell on the subject. IBF middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin, you remember him. He's coming back to the ring to fight somebody soon. He's fighting Japan's Murata on December 29th. I'm sure it'll be a bloodbath because Murata bleeds on the way to the ring. But again, the talks come up again of him fighting Canelo, which has led on some websites to people rewatching their fight, and Golovkin won one of the fights, and then Canelo won the other fight, and blah, blah, blah. Golovkin is now officially past his prime, and I'm quite positive Canelo, who has taken plenty of notes from watching Mayweather, will fight Golovkin again, because by the time they fight, Golovkin will be, 50 by the time they fight at this rate. And
Yes.
the fact that Canelo keeps saying, well, Floyd never fought anybody in their prime. This version of me would never fight Floyd. Floyd would never want that fight, yada, yada, yada. That's exactly what's going to happen here because it's a $100 million fight for Canelo. It's a no-brainer for the Undisputed Championship, right? This Maraca Baga 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 thing that they're doing is just a quick money grab. But the reality at the end of the day, if you don't think, especially with Eddie Hearn involved, this is a $100 million fight. There's no question about it. It's the biggest money out there. There's no question Canelo's going to take it because Golovkin is an old fucking man. I just feel bad that he basically got shelved. I mean, that's the truth. He got shelved. I start with you, Miguel. Am I completely wrong in reading this whole Gennady Golovkin thing?
No, I mean he definitely is being shelved. I mean it sucks for him because he's not getting any younger, and he was brought to DAZN with that carrot on his stick that was a trilogy with fucking with Canelo. So I mean that's kind of what they promised him, and he seems to. I mean he makes it seem like he's not dwelling on it, but I'm sure he is because that's one of the reasons he even came to DAZN to begin with was that the little piece of Canelo they were dangling in front of him. So I mean I feel he needs to just let it go at this point. Like it's not going to do either of these guys any favors, specifically Canelo, because it's a lose-lose. He fights an old guy, he whoops his ass, right? I mean, yes, the money, we understand that, we mentioned that before, but he beats Canelo. I mean, he beats Triple G, and he just beat an old fucking guy. He waited till he was old, whatever. And if he loses, then he just lost to an old guy. So it just doesn't seem to be a win in that sense. And Canelo's got a shit ton of fucking money as it is, so I don't think that's going to be his primary, focus for something like that, or driving force with this trilogy fight with fucking Triple G. Triple G might as well just move on and look for fights with Andrade or Munguia or something like that. Other DAZN guys that he can get at middleweight. Or Murata a couple of times that they swapped the belt a couple of times. But at this point, I think it's just that train has passed. That boat has sailed, right? Whatever the phrase is. At this point, I don't think there's really much interest in this third fight here.
Andrew.
I think Eddie Hearn and DAZN really dropped the ball on Triple G. Who cares that he can't get his trilogy fight with Canelo? One, Canelo beat him convincingly, in my opinion, in the rematch. I don't think there was a call for a third fight. Two, Triple G has the big contract. He's making like 20-something million a fight with DAZN. Why didn't DAZN use him like he's a star, like they're paying him to be a star? Hey, you've got Charlo, Lara, Eubank Jr., Munguia. There's a lot of fighters at the middleweight division Triple G could have had a decent scrap with on DAZN. They don't need Canelo. That fight doesn't even draw the attention that it did, 5 years ago when the first one went off. It's really sad. Triple G with HBO had a market. There was a fan base for him. A lot of Mexicans were tuning in to Triple G fights. And with DAZN, that absolutely has just died. And to me, that's more of Eddie Hearn's issue than it is Canelo or Triple G's. I think Hearn and DAZN really dropped the ball on the middleweight division. I don't know why they didn't carry Triple G just as a middleweight and leave fucking Canelo alone.
Yeah, leave that alone and just move on. And if Canelo left the weight class, all right, now we're gonna make Triple G the guy, and he's gonna go around collecting all these belts again the way he did before, and making him the middleweight monster that he was prior to his fights with Canelo. Why not? Why the fuck not?
Miguel, Munguia, 38-0. Charlo, 32-0. Demetrius Andrade, 31-0. Doesn't that make you a legend already? Right? You just take those three guys on. It's like, damn, look at the career he had after Canelo. Yeah. He fought 3 undefeated guys. Maybe he beats them all and goes off into the sunset. I don't know what the hard-on is for this Canelo fight that, in my opinion, Triple G was on the back end. The first one, close fight. Second one, not too close. Third one is not going to be close. Canelo's peaked. He's peaked. Your guy isn't peaking anymore. It's not even a close fight in this trilogy.
No, he's on the downside at this point.
Yeah.
There you go. Moving forward. Joshua felt Wilder lacked proper game plan in the trilogy fight. Okay. I don't know why anybody has any words from Anthony Joshua giving a view of a fight. I think Anthony Joshua needs to find a trainer and get on with his life. I'm just more amused that people are asking him for sound bites. Didn't he lose not once but twice for lack of a game plan? That's why I found this so, ironic.
That's fucked up.
I think for lack of a plan B, that was his fucking problem.
Right?
Like, he came in there with a game plan. When it didn't work, he was lost.
Right. Well, I guess he is the man to comment then on, Deontay Wilder, who had a game plan A, and it failed, and game plan B was to be like this photo. I mean, that was plan B. I'm going out on my shield. Your king will die in the ring. Well, you did. Good job. That was your plan B, and you executed it flawlessly. And I guess Anthony Joshua, if his comments were, yes, he executed plan B perfectly, just like I did. Go out on your shield. I guess you're the right person to ask. Otherwise, this Anthony Joshua mystique is, he could easily be a PBC fighter. He's literally a Tommy Hearns PBC type fighter. You basically manufactured him to the top because he was an Olympic guy. He got up there. He did beat some big guys. He did. He stepped up when he had to. But he lacks focus, like Deontay. Am I completely reading this wrong, or is this the most ironic person to give game plan advice ever to Deontay Wilder? Like, of all the people in boxing, unless you want to ask Dillian White what it's like to be passed over for a title shot, right? Like, that would be a good guy to go ask. Why don't you go ask Deontay Wilder? Dillian White about getting passed over. He's got a lot of experience with it. So if the question was, hey, Anthony Joshua, what's it like when your game plan goes way the fuck out the window and you're getting your fucking face plastered? And he goes, you just get fucking beat up, right? That should be his comment. Instead, he breaks it down like he's some kind of guy who the jab was it, like he's got a whole breakdown. Shut the fuck up. Who the fuck are you? You know what his comments should be? Let me rewrite his comments directly. I have comments. This is what happens when you can't execute and somebody fucks you up. It's happened to me a couple of times when I've lost focus. Good comments. Good job. Good job. Miguel, am I reading this wrong, or is Anthony Joshua, just shut the fuck up and go find a trainer and beat somebody.
Yeah, find yourself a trainer before you start giving other people game plans of something. But I want to see, like, I don't know if we can scroll down for what is his suggestion? What would he have done?
He tried,
in fucking
but
Wilder's?
he couldn't get that power and that ferociousness. You have to have it up here. Well, you don't have it either, asshole.
Yeah.
Before
Okay.
you have it just here, clench his fist at this level, you have to have it here, points to his head. Well, you don't have that. What the fuck are you talking about?
What is he?
Not in this day and age. Can a heavyweight just jab his way to a win? Wrong. Go watch the Klitschko tapes. Because heavyweights are different. I met a guy who makes gloves the other day. Oh, this is where he's getting his advice. Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez.
Wait,
Okay.
hold on. I almost need to be on the screen so you can see the look of my disappointment when I read this. Not in this day and age can a heavyweight just jab his way to the title. Okay, where is it? I met a guy who makes gloves the other day, and he said that he never used to make special gloves, but now heavyweights are 17 to 19 stone and 6'10". The whole division has changed in the last 5 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he got beat up by a guy who was 6'3". Shut
And
up.
before fighters could jab
the fuck up.
like that for 12
Came off
rounds
the
and get away with
cruiserweights.
it, they'd get a bit tired, but they were conditioned because they were lighter. But now, when you've got guys that are like 6'7", they get tired. Hold on. I could be completely wrong. Alexander Usyk is like my height, right? Like 6'2". He's like 6 foot, right?
Yeah, he's 6'3", something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury is 6'5", 6'6".
6'6", yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just him and Wilder.
It's just him and Wilder, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, no. No.
The fuck is going on in his fucked up head? I'm really starting to buy into the Tommy Hearns assertion that Anthony Joshua's got a head full of bad wiring.
You also got to remember he's a late starter in boxing, so it's not like he was handed down the knowledge, since he was a young man. He's been living in the gym. No, this guy came in at 18, won a Olympic gold 4 years later, some shit like that, and then started fighting professionally. Really fast path for Joshua into the heavyweight limelight. So it's not a surprise that he's probably not as educated as some of the guys that grew up in the gym as little kids, young men, however you want to say it.
Miguel?
No, that I already gave. I wanted to see what the hell, like what he said, what he suggested this shit here, because I mean, like that was my main thing. I wanted to see if he said anything that he was lacking himself, because I mean, I'm sure he was just basically spitballing at that point.
He is spitballing, 100%, 100% spitballing there from Anthony Joshua, who needs to go find a trainer. Have fun.
Yeah.
Katie Taylor feels Amanda Serrano showdown is likely for 2022. Aren't you guys cute in the female division? I think they're so cute trying to make fights between them all. I mean, I'm down just because I like staring at... I mean, seriously, I enjoy staring at Katie Taylor, a.k.a. Sugar Tits. But the women don't seem to fight each other much like the men. Like, the women suffer from the same issue. Like, nobody wants to fight Shields. Nobody wants to fight Taylor. Nobody wants to fight Serrano. They all want undefeated records and be like the main event.
It seems like all the women fighters, they have championship belts, too.
Yeah, I don't even know how they print them. I don't. The belts seem to cost more than what they're making in the fight. I'm just waiting. I swear to God. Like, when's the Hustler issue with all of the women of boxing who got paid $1 million to take their clothes off? Like, again, if I win the lotto, that's going to be my magazine that I bring to boxing fans. My first issue, the naked women of boxing. Serrano, Taylor. I'm doing it. I'm wasting millions on it. I'm just telling you, I think it's going to be a hit. I could be completely wrong. Moving forward.
How is Amanda Serrano flown under the radar with that big drug case her brother-in-law got into? Miguel, did you hear this?
Yeah, but was that like I did hear about that, but it was like his or her sister. No, I think it was like her sister's husband.
Her sister. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
the boxing gym they own. steroids was being pushed big time. I guess all drugs, but doesn't she have like the longest or the most knockouts in women's boxing?
I don't know. She's got like 8 division titles or something like that. Something up there. I don't.
Someone might want to see her relationship to her brother-in-law. You might want to dig into that a little. I know it's women's boxing. No one gives a flying fuck. But,
Nobody does.
Hey, Lee, her brother-in-law had a Bentley, okay? That's how big that's how much shit he was pushing out of his boxing gym that he had a Bentley when they raided his house. So, yeah, it's real weird that none of the boxing media seems to be catching on to this story. But Amanda Serrano's family is involved in a real big drug case there in, where is it, Florida? I think it's Florida.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Compton, Florida, whatever.
7-time world champ. Most
Sure.
knockouts
Not
in
even that
women's
is
history.
getting women's boxing attention. Not even something like that.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
No.
I care more about women's boxing for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
I care more. This show cares more about women's boxing for all the wrong reasons, which is I want to do a match the breast to the fighter campaign.
Oh my God. Okay, we got that.
Lee.
Really?
There's a WNBA player who just recently announced she's going to have an OnlyFans account. So maybe these female boxers.
Hey, it might get hot.
I'm just saying.
That's what I've been
maybe
thinking
it's
about in my
spreading.
spare time. I'm done looking at bodybuilding females. I'll move on to WNBA women. Oh my God. God help us. Hey, it's official. Amir Khan and Kell Brooks are going to announce on Monday that they're going to fight.
Oh, fuck.
Yay.
No one cares. Yeah, no one cares
but
either.
somebody has to talk about it. We might have one English fan who went, oh, cool, more Amir Khan humor. Yes, you're right. Once this fight is made, I'm going to go back to Amir Khan and his wife and the fact that she was fucking around behind his back. Yes, you would be 100% correct. Every time you see Amir Khan, just automatically assume I'm going to talk about his wife fucking around behind his back and how much of a pathetic man he is that he allowed that shit to happen. Just saying it out loud. Just saying it out loud.
No, you know what was bad in that whole thing is she announced the pregnancy right after he dropped that dumbass tweet. That was what was like, damn. Sometimes you fucking wish you wouldn't have said the thing, or I guess in this one wrote a tweet. Yeah, man. He freaking says his wife's cheating on him, then she's pregnant, and it's like, oh shit.
Both.
That was
Is it even yours? Check the sperm count, brother. Hey, go to boxingtonight.io.
Long 9 months.
Follow all of us through social media platforms. They're all there. Follow at Fight Fiend Migs. Follow me at Lee Hunter. Yeah.
I think while she was giving birth, I think I'd be paying attention more to her face reaction than anything else. Because while a woman's giving birth, she's in a lot of pain, right?
Well, when the child comes out black, it's going to be automatic.
No, I wasn't going to go there. I'm just saying. It's my joke. Don't make it racist.
All right.
I'm just saying that. What if one eye was open? Like she's all, but she has one eye open the whole time. Wow. She's trying to see.
Can I get a no? Can I get a mirror? Can I get a mirror? What do you need a mirror for? I want to be able to watch the birth.
I'm like, bitch, why have one of your eyes open? I flipped out right in the delivery room. It's over.
It's probably the first delivery where a woman is hoping that it's just like the Alien movie. Please let it be an alien. Please let it be an alien. Please let it be an alien that kills everybody in the room, including my husband, who just won't go away. He won't leave me. I cheated on him publicly. I fucked another man. I'm having that man's son, and now my husband won't leave me.
Amir's going to raise it. And Amir's going to raise it.
He's a fucking cuckold. There you go. Today's keyword, cuckold. Go to boxingtonight.io where you can listen to back episodes of Fight Net Radio. Check out the boxing schedule. Just type in boxingtonight.io. Follow Miguel and myself on different forms of social media. All the links are there, especially our Facebook page. Everything you ever wanted out of a boxing website that wasn't one of the major boxing websites. It's the most psychotic thing I've ever built in my entire life, and I'm quite proud of it. Moving forward, let's move on to this weekend's fight, and we will start off with Triller's Triad triangle ring of trilogy madness. Now, if you're wondering, hey, was it Metallica that filled up that arena? The correct answer would be yes, since everybody ringside, it was general admission, was wearing a Metallica t-shirt. So for $100, you got a full Metallica concert, and what I can only describe in the main event as the wackiest knockout decision ever. Did you watch the tape on this, Andrew?
Yes, I did.
I mean, this is...
He's out on his feet. What is
Spaghetti
Brook doing?
He put him on
He's out on
spaghetti.
his feet.
Yeah, it actually took Mergliotta a second. Like, why didn't you stop the fight there?
He's out on his feet.
Like, I really got to know why this didn't get stopped there. Like, he's not even sure. He's just, like, keeping an eye on Pulev. He's like, all right, fuck it. I guess I got to stop it.
Even Pulev was like,
yeah,
he kind of threw his
props
hands
to
in the air,
Pulev.
too.
Yeah, props to him for not fucking going in there for the kill, literally. He just kind of was like, ref, are you going to hop in here or what's going on?
So basically, if you were watching this, you could have tuned in, watched 3 killer Metallica songs, which, by the way, great video work, great staging for Metallica. Some bullshit triangular ring that made these fucking pits that just basically pinned your arms in the ropes in the corner against mid-level MMA and mid-level boxers.
I mean, Lee,
it was
if they did this thing right,
yeah.
If they did it right when they promoted the Metallica concert, this thing might like crush MMA pay-per-view records.
Crushed. Metallica
Does
played
anyone
for
know
an
Metallica
hour
has
after this.
63 million followers on their Facebook page.
Right.
They literally just have to put one, hey, we're going to be on a concert tonight for $40.
They did.
They might have
They
crashed.
did. They did. I guarantee their pay-per-view numbers are going to be ridiculous. And they probably got paid the highest amount of anyone on that card that night. But let's be honest. They're the goddamn draw. Metallica played everything.
But nobody has ever been this, Triller, props to Triller. When I seen 63 million followers, I started laughing like, oh my God, if they only got 1% of people to tune in. Yeah.
No, they will have crushed it. I guarantee they got the highest pay-per-view numbers last night and the highest viewership. And it's only because of one thing.
Terrence Crawford will be fighting on Triller next.
Yeah. Is Metallica fighting on that card? No, I don't want Snoop Dogg. I want Metallica. Can I get Metallica? Well, we can't get Metallica. Well, what are my other options? We can get you Snoop. I don't want Snoop. Snoop doesn't draw. I want Metallica. Like, you know what the truth is? Crawford probably doesn't know any Metallica songs, but I guarantee he will become the biggest fan if he fights for Triller automatically.
If he gets
Actually, I'm gonna see how smart Triller is right now. Give me 1 second.
All right, I'll start with you, Miguel, because this is a cross-branded MMA boxing thing that they tried to build up to Shannon Briggs fighting. Like their big build-up is Shannon Briggs versus whatever that car crash is. But what do you think?
I mean, the rule set is kind of confusing. First and foremost, like there's like you can do some stuff like hold behind
clinching
the head or something.
Is really the big
punch
one.
It, right? But you can't do like the shoulder punch or something. It has to be with your fist. And they're wearing these like gloves that, if you can tell right there, they look like old school judo gloves. But it's just like it seems like a total fucking farce. And we understand these guys are trying to hype it up as much as they can. Rampage has even gone as far as to say, "Oh, Bellator and the UFC should be scared or they're in trouble or some shit like that," right? I don't know how much he was paid to say that, but nonetheless, it looked like a total fucking shit show. Like it looked like a total dumpster fire. They needed Metallica on there to sell those damn pay-per-views, or I don't even know if it was on pay-per-view. What the hell? Streaming service?
Whatever it was. Yeah, I think it was pay-per-view.
But I mean, like that's the only way they could have fucking done it, because I mean that's the Triller thing, right? Every freaking fight there's like some sort of concert. There's Justin Bieber or some Usher or whoever the hell it is.
Well, now they figured it out. We just get Metallica for all of our shows.
Yeah, and this weird shit. I mean, like the ring was dumb as fuck. We saw it was triangular. Like I get the point, right? The triad kind of deal, but you can use a classical ring, or you can use a circle if you want. You can use a Bellator cage or whatever. There's no point. I mean, it's just for the sake of aesthetics. I don't know how functional a triangular ring is, but I mean, it just seemed like a total I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's gonna last too long. Like, yes, they're gonna end up having more, and I don't necessarily mean these Triad Combat guys. I just mean Triller in general. As they're gonna have a lot more fights, more likely like a YouTube boxers type of deal, and have Metallica back again. But as far as this Triad shit goes, I don't see this having a long life. No.
Andrew?
Yeah, it's stupid. It's a dumb idea. Look, there's two sports that are running the combat world. That's the UFC and that's boxing. You can't be in the middle. You got to pick one side and hope that your company makes it. If they're going to do an MMA show, they need to do an MMA show and put the same thing. Put Pulev in with Frank Mir and let them fucking fight. But say it's a fucking cage fight. They're going to get down. I'm sure Pulev's all in. You guys, he ain't making that much money anywhere else. He's still got his hands. Right? Let them fight. The boxers have shown that, well, they have a winning record in the MMA. They're not going to the MMA getting destroyed. Clarissa Shields did lose her second fight in the MMA not too long ago. She had a second pro fight that she did take a decision loss in. So even she's 1-1 now. But go for it. Don't give us this half and half.
Yeah.
Listen,
this is retarded shit.
If you're going to say they can only strike or they can only stand up, the boxer is going to win 90, 89% of the time. I don't know what the fuck you want the percentages to be, but the striker, the best striker in that ring is probably going to win. To make this shit fair, you got to be an MMA company, and you guys are fighting for all the marbles. You know what? If I was Triller, I'm going back to old school MMA, one purse. It's a tournament for the night. Winner takes all. Oh, the fans used to love that shit. They used to love it. Yeah. Go back to that.
Yeah, this hybrid shit, like if for those of you who may or may not know, one of the original founders of the UFC is a guy named Art Davie, and he later on, several years later, tried to start this league of like arm wrestling fights. If you guys ever seen this shit, like there's like a pedestal, right, where they're doing the arm wrestling, so they have one arm doing the wrestling, and then the free hand, they're punching each other in the face. Like that's what they're trying to do. Like it is so fucking retarded. It's like goddamn, they're trying to, this weird hybrid stuff. And I get it, like it was kind of one of those like, all the stars aligned kind of things, and then MMA happened kind of deal, right? But it's like,
but didn't Triller try slap fights on one of their cards along the way too?
I don't know, dude. I've seen fucking fights in Russia where it's like pillow fights. They're actually in a cage smacking each other with pillows. Like that's literally what we're down to.
Yeah, but Russians are crazy.
Yeah,
Russians have those fights. I've seen the gang fight thing where they have like
5-on-5. Yeah.
I've seen them dudes dressed up in like fucking like
all right,
Spider-Man
I'm just
costumes.
Spitballing here for Triller. So if we get a bunch of women naked and put a big pile of cash in the middle and they fight for it, is there an audience?
Yes. If you had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament with women in G-strings, I think it smashes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Sorry. I just thought about that out loud. I'm all in. Let's move forward. Kenichi Ogawa drops bloodies and decisions Azinga. If you've never heard of Kenichi Ogawa, who cares? If you haven't heard of Azinga, who cares? It's one of the only undercards we're going to talk about, and that's because Kenichi Ogawa beat the fuck out of Azinga. I'm actually not exactly sure why this fight went on as long as it did. I'll start with you, Miguel. Kenichi Ogawa, the new IBF titleist.
Yeah, that was a fun fight, man. I mean, like I kind of felt bad. I can't pronounce the dude's name, but like I felt bad for him. Like, damn it, he was getting his ass handed to him, and then there was a couple of headbutts, right, that caused a really bad gash. But he was dropped a couple of times, and dropped like on his own volition, right? He got hit, and he's like, oh shit, I'm hurt. He took a knee and avoided any further punishment. There was one or two times where it did look like he stunned Ogawa right early on in the fight because his southpaw stance. But man, that right hand of fucking Ogawa was just like on point. He was landing that shit and the lead. Like he didn't even set it up or try to disguise it, hide it behind the jab. He just threw that lead right. Man, that shit was sweet. It was a fun fight, but man, it was a one-sided ass whooping. I really feel bad for I can't pronounce his name.
Azinga.
Azinga. But yeah, I mean, and then these guys are 130, right? So that kind of adds another dimension to this fight here, or to the division in general, because the 130 division is pretty popping right now. So yeah, I mean, it was a good fight. You guys should remember Ogawa's name.
There you go.
This is
Andrew, play with the cable on your headset first.
Yeah.
Plugging your headset again. It's doing that thing again. Hold on. I'm just helping the fans out. I'm vamping much better, Andrew. Thank you. Go ahead.
This is the undercard for the DAZN fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a decent fight. That was a good fight that the Japanese young man put on, displayed there. Kind of reminiscent to a young Manny, right? Big fire plug. Obviously the right hand, not a southpaw, but still just his pressure, his speed. He looks like he's going to be a very exciting fighter here in the near future. Yes, sir. Now let me ask you.
Yeah.
Was that the fight where the young man was attacked by a lion, or were you just playing?
What?
The guy's head was kind of fucked up.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that. Yeah, it's all scarred and shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know what was going. I was.
What conversation were you guys having during this fight while I was picking up a big bag of food? Jesus, I'm glad I don't look at half the text.
Out of shape head.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
they're breaking news. Breaking news.
And then he had like some sort of bump in the back of his head or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about Fulton, Brandon Figueroa first. For those of you who live under a rock, there were 2 championship fights. And since it is George Kambosos, as I like to say, Cam Soda Day, we'll save that for last. Let's talk about Fulton versus Figueroa. A fight that was basically a 50-50. Let's be perfectly honest. And not a, in the words of Andrew and Miguel, not a half-bad scrap. There you go, Miguel. You got quoted for a rarity. It was a good scrap. Who says that shit? Miguel. That's who says it.
Yes, I do say it. That's right.
All right. I said early on during the fight that Brandon Figueroa was going to win. No, actually, I said that Stephen Fulton was going to win, and it looked that way. Early on, I had made that comment. I watched the fight while I listened to Metallica on the other screen. It was a good fight. I mean, I don't know where Brandon Figueroa was that he didn't realize it was a 50-50 fight. We seem to have a lot of this going around in last night's main events where the losers of these bouts didn't seem to believe that they were in close fights. That seems to be a recurring theme in the next 2 fights.
Right.
So I'll start with you, Andrew. You kept going on because the fans were still behind Figueroa after the fight, as he cried like a bitch. Fulton.
He did cry like a bitch.
He did cry like a bitch. Yeah, so did Teofimo Lopez. Everybody cried who lost last night. They cried like bitches. Originally,
Figueroa,
can I say for the record before you say this, I wanted to entitle today's show, Bitch, Handle Your Scandal. Like, that's exactly what I thought after these 2 fights. If you guys believe you were that fucking far ahead, put the fucking guy down. Like, go win the fight. If it's a toss-up, you get what you get. So shut the... Like, the one thing I could say about Gennady Golovkin in the first fight, it was close. And he's like, meh, it was close. Right? Be a man about it. Be a man about it. That's what I hate, is when they're not... Yeah, I left it up to the judges. Floyd said it all the time. Don't leave it up to the judges unless you give them no chance to make another decision. And that's not what happened in these 2 fights, and especially in this fight. This was a legit 50-50. You could have flipped the coin and picked the winner. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I've watched the fight over. I still have Figueroa ahead, but I'm not arguing the outcome because it was such a close fight. Basically, what I didn't like about the outcome of that fight was, and this is my opinion, this is how I see this fight played out. Both men are champions. One, Fulton's WBO, Figueroa's WBC. So they're both champions. No challengers in this fight. They're both undefeated, right? Both undefeated champions, undisputed matchup about to happen. You have Figueroa, who outthrew, he outlanded, and he kept Fulton on the ropes for a good portion, 90% of this fight. I mean, Fulton literally ended the fight with his back in his own corner taking punches. So you had the crowd cheering for Figueroa. It was just really weird that he lost this fight by 4 points when all of that was in his favor. Most thrown, most outlanded, the one with the pressure. Fulton, I swear to God, the only way Fulton got off the ropes is if he was holding. I don't know how Mora never seen this and gave any type of warning or penalty. Mora did his best impression of Joe Cortez during the Whitaker-Chavez fight last night. He just didn't want to get involved when really he should have. There was a lot of holding going on in that fight. One guy literally wanted no piece of the inside because he was getting his ass handed to him. And all he could do was look at the ref and, oh, my God, his head is in my face and he's hitting my back and he's hitting the back of my head and cry the whole fight. Yeah, he handled it. He was throwing punches. But to me, he was fighting on the defense while Figueroa was bringing offense. He was fighting because he had to when Figueroa was bringing the moment to him. He never once put Figueroa to the ropes. He never once took over. There are moments in the fight, at least 3 or 4 rounds, where Figueroa clips Fulton, and Fulton goes into the shell. The whole, remember when Canelo was young and he Lara, Austin Trout, he goes in these moments where he goes on the ropes and just takes punches after punch. Well, you know what I heard all that time? Oh, they beat him. Lara beat him. Trout beat him. But then last night, all of a sudden Showtime's like, oh, clear effective punching. Yeah, fuck. When I heard Fulton's first excuse, they go, hey, Fulton, it's a great fight. What'd you think about the fight? Oh, you guys see me punching in between the punches? Right there to me, he admitted he got outworked. He's telling you, I know I got outworked, but I was really clipping him while he was punching me. I didn't like it. I want a rematch. Hey, listen. Figueroa totally looked like a crybaby. Everything that he said at the end, well, it was pointless. Like you were saying, Miguel, that was all pointless. What do you think, Fulton? The guy, yeah, you know what? I really lost. Here's your belt back. It was so stupid for him to do that. He should have let Fulton get his moment and then come in after and say, I fucking won. I want to fight this guy again. And that's it. But
it won't
one
happen.
thing that I do like, his fans didn't turn on him, you guys. If you guys seen
are there
the fight,
fans? Are there really fans that were there, or were these
this.
people they dragged in off the strip?
That was a pro Figueroa crowd. We all heard the announcement of both fighters' names. When Figueroa was announced, they went crazier than they did when Fulton was announced. So it was a pro Figueroa crowd. Now, in the Kambosos versus Lopez fight, that was a Lopez pro crowd. We all knew that. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the ending of both men bitching after the fight, Lopez gets booed tremendously. Mm-hmm. His fans don't want to hear it. Soon as he goes, I think I won, booed. That's how he knew he fucking lost. In Figueroa's case, they cheered. They booed when Fulton started talking. So I'm just saying, Fulton might have won, might have been a close fight, but you didn't win over the fan base like Kambosos did over in New York. So very close fight. Had no horse in this race because they're both PBC guys, and I give a flying fuck about PBC fighters because they probably won't fight outside of the PBC anytime soon.
Correct.
And I think it's time for the Black American fighter to also stop with the walking in of the Mexican colors. The what do you call the hats on the sarapa? How do you say it, Miguel?
The sombrero.
Sombrero on the head. It's all, you know what? If we're all about canceling shit and not being racist and all this, it's time for them to let that go. Because really, Fulton, you didn't act Mexican at all. You acted like a little bitch. Every time the fight got in close, you wanted to hold. You wanted to look at Mora, pleading your case for him hitting you behind the head, hitting you low, big head all in your face. That wasn't Mexican at all. So you can put away the Mexican flag. You guys can stop that because you know damn well if Tyson Fury walked in the motherfucking ring looking like Deontay Wilder did in his last photo shoot where he said he was some African king, you guys would lose your motherfucking minds. I think it's time for them to acknowledge and respect the country of Mexican and Mexican fighters by letting that shit go. It's getting old, and we're all into canceling shit. Why don't you go ahead and cancel that for us?
Hold on. I would air horn it, but I think in a backhanded way, you're finally agreeing with me that boxing is the most racist shit on the planet, which I've been screaming about for 14 or 15 years.
I think for a long time, we known that the Mexican fan base, Mexican fighters have been pushed around in this sport for a while. They talked about Jim Lampley or excuse me, Max Kellerman Lee. We brought it up years ago with the whole fucking tacos thing and how no one cares.
Nobody cares.
We brought up this isn't the first time a American fighter has brought in the colors of a Mexican flag, even Triple G, even though Triple G seemed to do it more out of respect. And I'll tell you why. If anyone knows Triple G's career and you go back and look at Abel Sanchez's interview, I think it's with Showtime. Triple G's fighting on Showtime at this point. Maybe it was HBO early, but he tells them, when I seen Triple G in the amateurs, I gave him a tape of Julio Cesar Chavez. I think it was against Rosario. And I said, you need to mimic this fighter. This is the guy you have to be. And ever since then, Triple G was a big Chavez fan. So Triple G, I think, did it out of respect, where some of these guys, we know damn well it's not out of respect. They're to me, Fulton looked like, hey, look at I'm Floyd. Look, I got my Broner beard and I got my Floyd costume. Do you guys think I'm Floyd? Like total PBC bullshit. Time to let it go.
Wow. So what you're saying is Spike Sullivan saying, yes, I'm going to a KKK rally and beating up a black man on St. Patrick's Day. You're finally against that.
Hey, Lee, if Tyson Fury walked in with the headdress,
he has done it. He walked in a full goddamn sombrero with a mariachi.
No, I'm saying like an African king that Deontay Wilder was trying to say he was, right?
I think they did, and somebody stuck a staple, like they fucking tranquilized his ass. He's like, Bob, look. And he put it on, and Bob's like, are you out of your fucking mind? Somebody tranquilize him till the fight and get him a decent costume.
Maybe someone will have to do it to show how disrespectful it looks to the Mexicans too. Maybe it has to be done. Who knows? But I when I seen it, it was like it's so unoriginal anymore. Like you're such a phony. Oh yeah, front PBC Front Street.
Wow,
makes sense.
Pure black champions. What? Who said that?
Jesus, Lee.
I got it out when I wrote it last night. You knew it was going to happen today. Look, I knew who was going to win the fight just by that. I'm like, well, if Al has to pick, yeah, he's going to pick the black guy. That's racist. No. Look at the stable. Who has more belts in the PBC? Sorry, everyone. It's not everyone else. If you're offended, you should be everyone else being offended. All right, Miguel. First of all, as our Latino representative, would you like to take up for the Latino cause and go, hey, people, cancel culture. Put down your taco, cancel culture. That was a callback, by the way. That's not me making a racist joke. That's a callback joke on you guys letting fucking... I still can't believe to this day the taco eating comment.
He got away with that.
Fuck.
Tacos hold water.
He beat his wife. He beat his wife and then did the taco thing. We'll give him a week off. You go to the Bahamas. Everything will be fine. What?
Hey, you're talking about when he said he slapped his wife and she forgave him? Lee, she forgave him.
And then a week later, he dropped the taco comment. Jesus Christ, how does this guy have a fucking job? I can't even do that in my job, and I own my own company. Jesus. All right, Miguel. First of all, would you like to be the Latino representative and take up arms, Cesar Chavez style, and unionize the entire Latino culture and go, yes, we are the real boxing fans, and we are tired of being fucked over by the likes of Al Heyman?
When you sign with Al Heyman, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Apparently not, because
their own fucking fault.
Figueroa did not act that way.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just because he was young and he's young and he's naive as fuck. But I mean, that's because I mean, really, like that's. I mean, to touch on the sombrero and the Mexican colors. Yes, it's obvious that that's a total. It's paying homage to fucking Floyd and his Floyd's, coming out party or whatever, right? Yeah, and his uncle, right?
His uncle who was called the Mexican assassin.
Right. But I mean, like when Floyd did it, he came out in addition to the sombrero, he came out in that specific like red, green, white, and red, whatever attire, boxing attire, right? This is attire, and I think who was it? I think it was Gervonta Davis did it as well. It's starting to become some sort of trend for your quote unquote like coming out party, like when you're like. You're a rival in the boxing world and you're black and you're a young black dude. Hey, that's what you do, especially when you're a PBC guy. That's like what the fuck you do. So that shit is like, it's getting old. It's unoriginal as crap. I'm not going to be a snowflake and say I was offended because I sure as fuck wasn't. But it was one of those rolling your eyes things like, oh, really? This shit again? Like, come the fuck on, bro. Like, it's getting stale, So would I like to see it stop? Of course, yes, because it's they're not coming out because they're trying to, pay any sort of homage to Mexican boxers, obviously, because they're not going to fight in that Mexican way, obviously, and then we saw that from Fulton. So in those regards, onto Fulton and fucking Figueroa, it just seemed, it was really close, and I did have Fulton winning, but by very, very close. It just seemed as though the fucking the judges, they just were not seeing those body shots. Like they just were fucking not seeing those body shots for shit. Those body shots were slowing down Fulton like a motherfucker. It got to the point where Fulton was damn near allowing himself to be pushed up against the ropes. And I mean, just from the jump, it was obvious that Figueroa wanted to set that tone. I'm gonna muscle you around. This is how I do it. He knew that Fulton was just too fast for him in the center of the ring. So the best way he can slow him down to connect at all is to basically clinch and rough him up and put him up against the ropes, which is what he did. And there was a lot of low blows that the referee wasn't calling. There was a lot of shots after the split. It was a dirty fight because I mean, quite frankly, Figueroa needed to make it that way, and it worked. Yes, he did. He does get hit a lot, of course, and his face looked a lot worse than Fulton's. But it just felt like really the judges were just not seeing those fucking body shots, and the judges don't see the punch stats. So when we look back at these punch stats and we say like, how the fuck did this guy win? And he was out punched by the other guy. It's like the judges don't fucking see this shit. So I mean, it's really in real time. If they miss a punch, they miss a punch, and that's kind of how it is for the judges. I'm saying not this punch stats guys, but yeah, exactly. But it's just like that's another story as it is. But I certainly I'm not what's the word. I feel like the right guy won. I do feel that Fulton won, but it was very close. It was a lot closer than the fucking scores. And at the very end, it was just making the I guess the loss by Figueroa worse by him bitching like that. Like he was not, he goes in the center of the ring and he in front of everybody on the mic still asks Fulton, man, do you think you won? Like, what is that going to accomplish? What number one, what is Fulton going to say really? Like, oh yeah, dude, yeah, I did think you whooped my ass. And let's just say for the sake of argument, he does say that. What are they going to do? Go to the judges, be like, look, he said he lost. So that means we should switch to the fucking decision. Like, no, it's not going to change anything, dude. Don't. And I hate it when Jim Gray does the same thing. He does it to fighters afterwards. He's like, do you feel you think you won? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? What does it matter? It's completely irrelevant. It's just for the sake of the interview. But I hate when they ask that question because dumb as fuck. It looked really bad on Figueroa's part to try to do that. And he just sounded like he was a whiny little bitch afterwards. Take your ass whooping and fucking move on, right? You lost your belt. Okay, fine. He said it at the very end. As a matter of fact, I think it was Jim Gray who's interviewing him in the ring afterwards, asking him flat out, like, do you want the fucking rematch? Because you just said a few moments ago you're going to move up now. And Figueroa was lost. He didn't know what the fuck to say. He's like, yeah, he was so out there. It's like, dude, what is it? Are you pissed because you lost your fucking title and you want the rematch? Then you fucking stay at 126 or whatever, 122, whatever weight division it was. Or, you quit bitching and moaning and move up and go fight the next fucking champion, whatever. But it's just the fact that he was indecisive like that I was rooting for Figueroa the whole way, but that ending just pissed me off, man. I mean, it was bad. I didn't like the fact that he was acting like a little bitch like that afterwards.
Well, let's give it to
the only thing. Yeah. The only thing he did wrong was the way he approached Fulton after. The fact that he disagreed with the agreement, I'm not mad at.
Yeah.
He
exactly.
Yeah, it's the way he went about it.
Yes, it's the way he was trying to make his point. That's what I disagree with.
Which takes us to the king of all crybabies.
In a unification match.
Yeah.
In a unification match, that was a hell of a good fight. They got to bring it back. Listen, you go to PBC's Facebook social media page. They ask who they thought won. There's a lot of mixed comments in there. This was not a one-sided win for Fulton. Fulton shouldn't walk away thinking he really got this. This is a fight that and it's really weird. PBC way, Lee, I thought you were right when you were like, the draw's coming. I was like, the draw's coming, man. This was a legit in the telephone booth type of fight. Now, one thing I got to say about Figueroa's power. How the fuck does Fulton not even have a scratch on him?
Yeah,
hit the guy 800 times.
Yes, that's what the judges were leaning on. I could damn near say, because even Fulton himself said it after. He's like, dude, look at your fucking face. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yes.
Yeah.
And Figueroa's, face held out pretty well. He wasn't cut. He was bruised, obviously, but he wasn't really cut or anything like that, or to the point where he couldn't control the blood or anything like that. So his face held up quite well as well. But it's just like, I feel the judges that just completely didn't see those fucking body shots. But, I mean, yes, look at those fucking shots. He did throw a lot to the body, of course, right, Figueroa. But when he did throw up on top, like, dude, he wasn't landing as clean as often, I should say, as Fulton. And Fulton came out of there unscathed, at least on the surface. Because I'm sure his fucking liver and his guts were all over in bunches after all those body shots. But like upstairs, dude, his face, he came out unscathed.
He wasn't even, no swelling, no nothing. It was really, that was the only thing that was like. I had a text come in. Is this WWE? How are they not bleeding? How is there not any swelling? And when you're watching the fight before, right, where these guys just fucking literally break each other's faces up in 12 rounds, this fight looks like it was in close quarters 90% of the time. There's elbows, there's heads, there's punching. Like, what the hell was going on? Is that the 122 body weight size that they just didn't have any power? Like, Figueroa is a tall man. He's going to gain some weight. I'm hoping a little power goes with him because, seriously, if you throw 800, well, he threw it over 1,000, but he landed like 750 plus punches. If you land that many on someone and can't even fucking put a dent into them, what are you going to do with the higher weight divisions? Those guys are going to start, walking through you. It's I guess he's going to 126 next would be his next stop. So, it was just real weird. I'm hoping that at 4 pounds will put a little power on Figueroa because he didn't show too good a power last night.
And that's one of the reasons why he throws that much. I think him, and he's got that baby bull, what's his name, Diaz, right? I'm trying to think of his first name, Juan Diaz. He's got the thing where he just doesn't have the pop. So they realize that, like, well, the best way we can compensate for not having pop is volume. Throw a shit ton of fucking punches and try to make it look good to the judges. And then that's really his only shot. I hope that, I would love for him to stay at 122 and try to get a rematch. I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, you might as well just let it go and move up to 126. But, I mean, I would love to see a rematch because it seems like there's unfinished business.
Which takes us to our main event of the evening and possibly one of the biggest upsets to hit boxing in a while. And I would have to say it's an upset. Cam Soda, George Kambosos, beat Teofimo Lopez. And I got to be honest, I would have picked Teofimo if there was a betting show. But early in the fight, all I kept thinking was, boy, do I want Kambosos to win the fight. And I think I texted that in the second round during our chat during it. And Teo's dad backed that up for me exceptionally well. That is possibly the worst cornering in the history of boxing. Like, I've seen bad cornering. Like, Deontay Wilder's corner is completely ridiculous. Teofimo Lopez's dad, like, gave so many mixed messages in the corner that even the guys reporting on it on DAZN are like, what are they talking about? Like, first you tell them, go knock him out. Okay, then take your time. What the fuck is that? Like, seriously, his advice through much of the fight was, get this guy out of here. Okay, take your time.
No, he goes like this. He goes, relax. Come on, take him out already.
Yeah, we got somewhere to be. Hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, right. The car's running. The car's running.
For real.
Hey,
I'm running out of
point
change on the meter.
We got tickets for the Rockettes down the street. Get it together.
Hey, he tells him that. He goes, come on, hey, you got to get him out of there. We're going to celebrate tonight. What the fuck?
Yeah, he actually said that.
Celebrate tonight.
We got to go celebrate. Celebrate what, bro? You lost.
His son's getting his ass kicked at this moment.
The best part, if you did not watch this fight, is what happens after the fight. Let's be honest. The fight itself, Kambosos came in with a great game plan. He had a plan A. He stuck to his plan A. Teofimo Lopez had no plan A, no plan B, no plan C. And when you ask his dad what the plan was, hey, this guy's hurt. Get him out of here.
I wrote another one. You ready for this one, Lee?
Yeah.
Hit him twice.
Hit him twice.
Again,
that's a good plan. Hey, that's a good plan B. Hit him twice.
Hey, hit him twice, then do it again, but breathe.
That's a great plan. That's a great plan.
Oh, that's what I'm missing. Hold on. Ring that bell, coach.
Oh. Next time you go out there, hey, hit him. Hit him, bro.
Yeah.
Hit him, bro.
Hit him in the face. Hit him in the face.
Hit him in the face.
Yeah. Like,
you know what?
Shit.
You should hit him in the face and get him out of here, but relax while you do it because we got to go. We need to celebrate, bro.
Genius.
By the way, his stereotypical Anglo-Mexican thing that I make fun of for Oscar, boy, is it on display with Teofimo's dad. Like, he does it better than I do it. But listen, bro, like, get him out of here, bro. What is happening in that corner? Like, I would pay for all the corners of Teofimo Lopez. Like, if that was a pay-per-view and you gave me 12 minutes of just what was said in that corner, I would watch that on YouTube repeatedly. That is literally the most compelling, nonsensical bullshit, bad cornering I have. Outside of Deontay Wilder's corner where they just don't talk to him going, well, what do you think, champ? No, what are you asking him for? Like, he's seeing a total, like, that's crazy, right? This was crazier. Like, the messages that came out of that corner, oh my God, fire your dad, Teofimo. I mean, you're going to lose Bob in all this. I don't have to have Bob on the show to tell you, yeah, Bob's done with you. You are officially no longer interesting in the world of Bob Arum unless you want to fight, you know.
Taylor in the UK.
Yeah. 140. Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's Bob holds
it.
all the cards
He's Taylor's
now.
bitch now. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's
Shit, it seems like Taylor's holding all the cards now with a potential
That's
fight with
right.
Crawford and now fucking two former unified champs. Shit.
And good on Cam Soda after the fight going, yeah, we'll do it again in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, bro. Do it Jeff Horn style. Get a stadium. Get yourself your $50 million payday.
80. What they had 42,000 at that Pacquiao
I got
fight.
bad news for Cam Soda. I mean, if he really doesn't think that Teofimo Lopez isn't going to train like Santa's little helper and show up in that second fight and actually fight, I get the feeling that Teofimo didn't even fight, train for the fight. Like, he just thought, I'll show up.
He didn't. You can tell, Lee, with the way him and his father have been talking since the Lomachenko fight, they thought they passed the hardest test in boxing and nothing else mattered. All you got to do, hey, Richard Comey, you fucking knocked him out one punch. Lomachenko, you took his ass out in the first 8 rounds. We got this. The takeover has been taken over. And they learned real motherfucking fast. Not all fights are the same. Not all fighters are the same.
That's going to be a tough one to pass on, Andrew. That's a good title for the show. The takeover has been taken over. Ooh.
Yeah, well, isn't that what Morris said?
Yeah.
Didn't you hear Morris last night at the end of the fight?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what Morris said.
I don't know. I was still stuck on Sergio Mora saying ferociousness at one point, and I went, did he just say that? And nobody's going to call him Sergio?
No, I was like, yeah, the takeover is just, it's done. It's like these guys were so fucking big-headed. No, they did not train. Yes, Lopez thought he was going to walk in there and just land a right hand like he did. And he had it. He landed the uppercut. Mm-hmm. He landed the left hook. He traded right hands multiple times in that fight like he did with Comey. None of it fucking mattered, Lee. He hit this kid with everything he had. He was sharp. He was fresh. He was strong. Bam! He hit Kambosos. Kambosos looked at him and smiled. Kambosos fired right back. He topped everything Lopez did that night. You hit me once, I'm going to hit you twice back. He did it to perfection. No, I'm sorry. I don't think this fight changes. I think everyone underestimated this kid from Australia, his boxing potential, but he had it. He has the movement. He has the speed. He has the chin. He has the strength. Hey, listen, swear to God, you guys, that first knockdown, you know what I told my wife? That looked like fucking Marquez when he dropped Pacquiao. Then I come to find out after the fight that this young man has done 250 rounds with Manny Pacquiao. Let me tell you why they had this kid in there 250 rounds with Pacquiao. That motherfucking right hand. Freddie Roach seen that right hand and said, man, that really looks like Marquez. That could help us. If Manny can fucking learn how to move from this young man's right hand in sparring, maybe I have a shot with Marquez. Obviously, you see how it turned out, but that's the reason Kambosos is in the ring with Manny for, what did they say, 3 world title fights, 250 rounds. Now, that kid had it. He had it in the beginning. Anyone who goes 250 rounds with Pacquiao in 3 championship fights, I don't give a fuck if it's sparring or not. Teofimo, let me tell you something. You're not faster than Manny. You're not stronger than Manny. You're not better than Manny. This kid has lasted 250 fucking rounds with Manny Pacquiao. He's going to be ready for you on Saturday night. Let me tell you something else. 2 weeks ago, this stupid-ass kid and his fucking dad were in Las Vegas. And we all said, what the fuck is he doing in Las Vegas 2 weeks before the biggest fight? Low. We do a betting show. Kambosos all the way. Probably decision. He was set up to fail, and it's him and his father's fault, man. Way too big-headed.
What have you got, Miguel? Anything like that?
No, not like that. But I mean, it's a lot of piggybacking off of that. First and foremost, I do think that Teofimo did train for this fight. However, all he trained on was losing weight. Like, that's all he was doing.
He
the
dropped
whole
weight, got
time.
paid. Yes,
that was it. That was the only fucking thing, because like he made the weight right. He tried it on the first time. He got on the first try. But as far as like any sort of strategy, any sort of technique that he was going to bring into the fight game plan, plan A, plan B, plan C, none of that. That was nothing. It was making sure he's fucking on weight, because he's been saying he's been going to move up to 140 since fucking, 2019, before the fight with Lomachenko, talking about, I'm not going to wait for Lomachenko. The fight doesn't happen. He's going to move up to 140. This was back in 2019 already. So if he's talking about it back then, he's probably killing himself to stay at 135. But he's the champ, whatever. He fucking did it. And he won the title against Lomachenko. And I feel like that's really the only thing his camp was about, is just making sure he's on weight when the fight comes. They were anticipating that fucking Kambosos was not gonna be able to take his power. It was obvious from the jump that Teofimo was looking for the KO. It almost felt like that, Evander Holyfield, you win the championship and your first title defense is at your hometown and you get fucking Burt Cooper and fucking Cooper's whooping your ass. It's one of those like, oh shit, he came to his hometown, he's got a lot of pressure on him, it's his first title defense, right? And I honestly thought, even though Teofimo was dropped, I was like, okay, Teofimo will come back. I was confident. I was like, he's going to come back and he's going to end up finishing Kambosos. I did feel like that. And then when he ended up dropping him later on, I was like, okay, this is according to plan. This is how it's going to happen, right? And it just felt like he did not have the gas in the tank to finish Kambosos, and I feel it was because of that fucking weight. Now, am I going to say it's completely on that weight? No, obviously, because that's taking credit away from Kambosos, because the Kambosos doesn't give a flying fuck. He was going to come in with his game plan and take the titles from Lopez any which way he was going to do it. And if it was Lopez's fault that he's basically his entire training camp was losing weight, then so be it. But it's this perfect storm of circumstances, and Kambosos came in 100% ready. He, right from the jump, he set that tone with that fucking right hand. He said it in the post-fight press or interview inside the ring. It was throw that fucking right hand right from the jump. As soon as he threw that right hand and he dropped him, he started working that left. He started working that jab. He started working that check hook, and it caused some swelling on the right eye of fucking Teofimo. It was almost like Teofimo started to become more concerned with that right hand and not even paying attention to that left. But it was obvious as hell that Lopez was looking for that KO. His hands were down by his waist the entire fucking time. It's like, dude, bring your damn hands back up. This is exactly how you got dropped in the first round. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the scorecard for this fight, but the first round, two judges actually gave the round a 10-9 to fucking I think it was like a 10-9 something. I don't remember if they gave it to fucking what's his name, to Kambosos, but they didn't score it at 10-8. I don't know what the hell that was about. I don't know why. I mean, it's almost as if Lopez was winning the entire round and he just got dropped. But to me, that means you get dropped. It's a 10-8 automatically. They didn't even go as far as doing a 9-9, but they just left it at 10-9. Anyway, so fair
and that's what it should have been. Correct. If they had Lopez winning, that should have been a 9-9 round. Yeah, I got you. I'm with you. Yep.
But they didn't, and they left it at 10-9. I was like, what the hell? So right off the bat, when I saw, I should say right off the bat, because afterwards, so when I saw that, I was like, wait a second, this is a little fishy. Anyway, so
it's a lot fishy. As I said in the second round of the fight, Tommy Hearns is going to get all the belts off of Teofimo, take him away from Bob, and put him on Kambosos.
He didn't have to put a fix in. He didn't have to.
Yeah. But Teofimo just looked like he looked lost, and I don't know if there's been this recent trend. I mean, the trend itself isn't recent, but I mean, of success with dads in your fighters' corners. Right? We see it with Lomachenko, we've seen it with Lopez, and we've seen it with Devin Haney and Porter, and now we're seeing Porter's dad throwing the towel. We seen what's his name, Lopez's dad kind of lost in the fucking. This is probably, we've known that's not necessarily the best idea, but as of late there was some success with that. I think we should go back to that old way of thinking and be like, no, leave your pops out of the fucking corner. Have him ringside if need be, but leave him out of your corner. We'll see how Devin Haney does with his pops this coming weekend. But anyway, it was bad. When we were listening to the corner, my dad was like, what the fuck is he telling them? And I was trying to translate to him, and it's like, yeah, Dad, he's not giving them like no fucking info. Like, I don't know what the hell he's expecting. It's almost like all his dad is there for is motivation. Like, dude, fuck him up, bro. Yeah. Fuck him up, bro. Yo,
bro, fuck him up. What are you doing?
That's it. No actual tips or anything.
The car's running, bro. I'm double parked out on the boulevard.
Yeah, we need to go put more quarters in the meter, man.
Yeah, right.
Fuck up. It was bad. But and then on top of that, the ending, right? The decision, boom. Kambosos,
it's the after fight that made this whole thing special.
Yeah, and again, it's that bitching. It's like, damn it, man. Look, he's a young man, right? And he's Latino, so he probably has that fucking boiling, like, I'm just pissed as fuck. I'm gonna let it out on anybody. I don't give a fuck who the hell's in the way. It's just that temper. So I'm sure he's not exactly in the best frame of mind to have a mic in front of him, right? He's super pissed about the decision as it is. He even goes as far as to say that he feels he won the fight 10 rounds to 2.
Yeah.
And the mother.
Yeah.
How, like, when fighters get asked this question oftentimes at the end of the fight, they're like, oh, I don't know. I got to go back and watch the tape. I'm not sure, right? It makes sense. This motherfucker right from the jump said no.
He already had it scored.
He had it scored. Like, his pops was in his ear. I have to say,
listen,
it's like, hey, yeah,
listen, bro.
Tell him
when they tell you how you did in the fight, you go 10-2.
It's like right off the bat. I mean,
was it really 10-2? Yeah, it was 10 for him and 2 for you. But just say 10-2. Nobody will listen, bro.
And his brain was a little scrambled at first because he's like, 11-2. It's like, no. He meant to say 10-2. And then he said 10-2 and he corrected himself. But it's like, dude, please. He's not even trying to sound respectful at this point. And then he goes on to say, like, I should have dropped the belts and moved up like other guys. It's like, motherfucker, don't do this coulda, shoulda, woulda shit in the middle of the ring, man. Like, fuck out of here. He's losing a lot of respect by saying stuff like that. And he heard it with the crowd booing the living piss out of him. You know what I'm saying? And Kambosos, to his credit, grace under fire. He was like, he kind of didn't know what to say. He was like, dude, just we'll do it again. We'll go over to fucking Australia. And he tried to even cool the jets by saying like, all this, fuck this, man. Just go back to your kids. And that's important, right? We got our kids to go back to, yada yada. Try to kind of cool the jets a little bit. But dude, I'm sorry, that shit was bitching. Like, he was just acting like a total fucking bitch.
Lopez didn't want any part of it. There was no class after the fight.
It was nothing. And it's just like, dude, understand something. Like, yes, as big-headed as you are, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you lose, if you feel a certain way about the fucking loss, so be it. Go back to your locker room, have some media type shit up for you, and tell them what you really feel. But when you're doing it in the ring, you show your opponent the fucking class of respect. Don't be pissed off at your opponent. I mean, for whooping your ass, obviously. But if you disagree with the scores, go pissed off at the judges. Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. Like, he was there to make sure you lost, motherfucker. That's what this opponent's. That's his job. You know, the opponents. I mean, but I did not like that one bit. And
why don't you tell the truth, Kambosos? They told me I won.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically the punchline to the joke. Like, Teo actually thought George was going to break down and go, oh, yeah, I fucking stole all your belts. Haha, fuck you. Right?
Yeah. It's like the truth is around my waist and on my shoulders now, fool. So you ain't got none of them. Fuck.
Scoreboard.
And now what, you know?
Same
and have
thing
you
with Figueroa.
Have you ever seen a fighter look so fucked up while saying he won 10-2?
Yeah, right? Putting the fucking ice to his face or holding the towel to his eye.
Deontay tried that shit.
Yeah, he looked pretty bad though last night, Lee. That cut on the side of his eye, the redness all over his face, his head.
He looked like he got hit by a bus.
I won this fight. I was like, no, Lopez, would someone give this motherfucker a mirror? Are we serious right now?
Yeah. he didn't have the gas to finish the fight when he had Kambosos in trouble. I mean, Kambosos even said, like, I was fine, you know, it's just I was a little dazed, but I was fine. Him. Yeah, and he outboxed him still. So he went back. Like, once I saw that he dropped him, I thought, okay. And there was a part of me that wanted Lopez to fucking win because it's like, I don't want the monkey wrench. You know, we already saw what happened with Usyk and AJ and that, and it's like, no, let's hope this fight still is intact. You know, I'm talking about maybe Haney and Teofimo or any other lightweight in Teofimo. You know, that's kind of what I was hoping for. And when I saw that the Teofimo was able to drop Kambosos, I was like, okay, this is it. Boom, according to plan. All right, everything else is intact. The universe is okay. We can sleep at night now. And then Kambosos started outboxing him again. I'm like, what the fuck? What was that? What the hell did Lopez just throw that shit out the window? Again, looking for the KO, winding up, telegraphing like a motherfucker. He is fast. And look, here's the thing. These boxers, sometimes boxers are just so goddamn special that the reflexes are so badass that they can move out of the way of punches and they don't have to bring their hands up. Eventually that goes. Those reflexes go and you have to go back to, you know, your boxing fundamentals. Guys like Floyd can do it. Guys like Roy Jones can do it. Guys like fucking Manny can do it. They're just special guys that can do it. But don't forget the fundamentals. You know, keep your hands back up, bring them back home, because there's going to be a point where you might be stunned and your reflexes aren't as quick as they are and you're going to get caught with something thinking you can still get away with it and keeping your hands low. Anyway. So yeah, I did not like that about Lopez. I would love to see a rematch of this if Lopez decides to stay at 135, which I certainly would love for him to do. It doesn't seem like possible at this point. I think he's just going to forget about it and move up to 140.
And thus ends the Teofimo Lopez train. Bob,
I believe.
Yes.
I believe Danny Garcia's father, Angel Garcia, still takes the trophy for biggest dad loser between son and dad relationship when Zab Judah told them in the press conference, my boys sell crack to your dad.
Wow. I don't, you know what? Look,
can't get it.
Chavez Sr. and Chavez Jr. Look, Andrew, Chavez Sr. and Chavez Jr. Senior literally walking away from his son while shaking his head away from the ring while his son is getting knocked out. It's pretty rough, man. That's pretty rough.
Well, that's a little reverse.
His dad
Chavez
was not in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
True.
Trying
Chavez
to find crack
Sr.
cocaine.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, they weren't near the hotel you were staying at, was it? Right?
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, my God. Yeah, funny. I found a new dump in Vegas, and I'm very happy about it.
Angel Guerrero, right?
Yeah.
What was
Robert
Guerrero's
Stab,
father? Ruben Guerrero. Ruben, Angel, and Teofimo Sr. Yeah, what a round table that would be. Give us your thoughts on some of boxing's greatest moments.
My son's never lost a fight, ever.
Ever.
Got to think a fight would break out.
Yeah,
I told him to go fuck him up, and he did it. Wow.
Hey, go to boxingtonight.io and check out the news from around the internet that isn't on any other website. Also, you can get different ways of listening or watching the show. We do the show in audio and video formats on multiple platforms. There are many jump-off points. Follow us on social media, Facebook And the Instagrams. Follow both Miguel and I on social media as well. I'm at Lee Honish. He's at Fight Fiend Migs, MIGGS. We appreciate all of you listening. Feel free to send us your comments, concerns, or just tell Andrew, which seems to be the most direct route of hearing comments of, did Lee really say PBC was for... Yes, Lee really said that. And he said it early in the night yesterday. So get it, don't get it twisted, as they say in the business. We will be back next week, I'm pretty sure, with yet again another show. But we would appreciate you going to boxingtonight.io if you want to get updates on upcoming fights and schedules. There is boxing next week. Do we need to discuss it quickly?
Yeah, right. This weekend.
Did Andrew
Saturday,
already leave?
Haney.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
There.
You usually leave while I'm doing the outro, Andrew.
I'm trying to hold in. I'm trying.
It's kind of a
Let's speed this up.
trend.
I know she's probably pissed already. The
I'm
kids
sure
are
she
banging
is.
the walls, Lee.
It's like your
I
trademark.
can
at
hear
this
them. They're coming for you.
Yes.
They're like
Yes.
aliens. It's just like the movie Aliens. They're coming.
They're like a little pack of werewolves. Have you seen Transylvania, any of you guys?
point. I have not. No.
Oh, well, there's a pack of werewolves that is in that movie. That's my 3 babies, man. That's what it sounds like in that room.
I got to
They just dump toys. You guys, to find
Well,
one
you have
toy,
a bunch
they'll-
of children, Andrew. Of course they do.
Fuck.
You made shivs in school. I mean, really, what are we discussing here? Why are you expecting
know.
any less out of Junior? Really? Get him into boxing. That's all I can say. On Friday in Las Vegas, DAZN is putting on Devin Haney versus Jojo Diaz for Haney's WBC lightweight title. All right, Miguel, this is where you tell me, oh, I'm excited for this scrap. Okay.
We are. Just say we are.
Yes. Well, for starters, it's not Friday. It's Saturday. But
No,
anyway,
it's the 4th. Friday is the 4th. Thursday.
I'm pretty sure it's.
Oh, wait, you're right.
What?
You're right. It's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. You're right.
But
Relax.
nonetheless, we are excited about this fight.
Saturday.
We're talking
There's
about
boxing
Devin
on
Haney.
Sunday?
Yes,
Okay,
Gervonta
that's
Davis.
why I'm thrown off. All right, I got it.
Mhm.
I'm off. Look, I brought up the calendar on the screen, and I'm looking at the 4th going, it's a Thursday. Not in November. All right,
Yeah.
Saturday
Oh, my-
in Vegas. Haney, Diaz. Okay, now do your part where, yeah, I'm excited about this scrap.
Yes, this is going to be a great scrap. I'm going to nut all over it. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to watch it on DAZN. You best believe
Who
it.
would you
And then,
rather
of course,
have sex with, McCaskill or Bustos?
oh, dude, McCaskill. Have you seen
Right?
those thighs?
She's
Jesus
hot.
Christ. Dude, I saw that chick on fucking DAZN. I was like, holy fuck. Always wear that, please.
Yeah, I agree. Andrew, are you excited about the scrap with Haney and Diaz?
Yes, hopefully it's another coming out party for Devin Haney on the zone. He already has the win over Linares. JoJo's a good backup fight to that. So yeah, man, yeah, Devin Haney takes a step forward if he can get by JoJo Diaz.
McCaskill or Bustos?
I don't know the other one, but she did. McCaskill did look nice on the zone yesterday. Yes, sir.
Please forward all messages to Andrew's wives. Any chance I can get him in trouble. And by the way, everybody's letting the Cam Soda joke just fly right on through. There are a couple of people listening to the show. Did he just make a Cam Soda joke? Yes, and if you know what Cam Soda is, please send that message to Andrew as well. With a link to Cam Soda. That will definitely get him into trouble. And then on Sunday, Showtime pay-per-view on Sunday. This is the dumbest idea in the history of boxing. Sunday, on a football day in LA, when there are
And
home
on
teams
pay-per-view.
having football in LA on Sunday, Gervonta Davis, remember him? I talked about him earlier. He's fighting a guy you've never heard of called Isaac Cruz for Gervonta's regular. I feel like I need... Wait, hold on. Let me put my image back up on the screen so I can do this. Regular. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Fuck the WBA. Fuck the regular and lineal. What? Fuck you guys. Is it weird that I'm more excited about Fundora versus Garcia than I am Cruz versus Davis? Like, this card is so shit that I'd rather see Sebastian Fundora take on Sergio Garcia for the junior middleweight title eliminator. But I'm sure, Miguel, this is your chance of telling me, this is a good scrap. I know it's not.
No, I mean Fonduras. They're trying to. That's a super like long, like gangly dude, right? I mean,
Yeah. That's
what
the
it is.
only
Yeah,
reason Fondura is fun to watch, actually.
Right. Yeah, because he just looks like
He's
a
the
big
best
ass
He's
praying mantis.
6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 6'2" and weighs like 130 or something.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah,
like I
dude,
think somebody's
it's-
gonna break him in the ring. I'm totally excited.
Yeah. He's gonna break himself. He's gonna
Right?
too hard
Like
and
somebody's just gonna
fucking
pop
arm.
him in. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
that heavyweight that I saw down in San Diego that Bob's got, who's like 7'5", 375 pounds. And when you meet him, you go, he doesn't look that big until you get up next to him and wow, you're a motherfucking redwood, bro. I mean, you're big. Yeah, Fondura's the same way, but he doesn't seem to have any power. For you think he'd have a bigger cannon on it. All right, tell me about Davis and Cruz, Miguel.
Oh, well, I mean, last minute opponent with Cruz. I was watching the All Access yesterday after the fucking
Did it really
the
merit
Figueroa.
an All Access?
I mean, it didn't, but I mean, I'm gonna watch it. Of course, I'm gonna geek out and watch it. It's right after, Fulton and fucking Figueroa. Of course, they put it there strategically for that exact reason. So of course, I'm gonna watch it. But I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good scrap. It's gonna be a banger.
Pay-per-view. Aren't you excited? You could spend $40 and watch it.
Not excited. Instead, I mean, shit. I would probably watch free football before I fucking pay for that. But I would most likely watch it on VIP. Shout out to our sponsor,
Shout
VIP
out
Sports.
to our sponsor, VIPFrontRow.net.
Yeah. So
Andrew,
are
you even going to put up VIP Front Row Net and give it that much time a day?
I do it on Facebook Live.
Same.
That's how I've been
All
watching my
right,
fights
same thing.
illegally.
Same thing. I like the angle. All right, so you're going to watch the fight on Sunday, excluding the fact that they're
not.
really, or
I'm not buying it.
would you rather watch the Raiders play, say, the Giants?
I would watch them both.
All right, wait. Let me go a step below that. Raiders versus the Jets.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me go a step below
watch
that.
the
Raiders versus Detroit. Raiders, Detroit.
The last game we had, they told us the Raiders have had one winning season in 18 years. So we are kind of Detroit. I didn't even know that, Lee. I went and looked it up and shit. I was like, there's no way.
There's no way.
There's no fucking way.
The vertical game.
Yes.
The vertical game.
Miguel, what that means is only one time since my daughter has been born have the Raiders ended a season 9-7 and not 7-9. And that's really not their records. I'm just giving you a ballpark of what,
No, they've been
9-7, bro. One time.
Yeah.
One time in 18 years.
Yikes.
That's hilarious. All right, Andrew. We're going to end on a big note. What was the name of your daughter's presentation for this year?
Oh, shit. It was the Disneyland Pixar. Yay! Pixar movies.
Really? What
I don't know
did they call it? Like
of it
tribute
is.
to
I just
Pixar, or did it have a title like tribute
I don't know.
to Pixar?
See, damn it, I thought I did good by finding out what the damn thing was
Yeah, but it's
about,
got an
eh?
actual name. Like, do you
You're
know
asking too many
Fall
questions.
Guard is getting ready to start, Andrew?
Pixar, it's the Pixar moment.
You know Fall Guard starts next week, right?
No, I don't.
What?
No.
Go get your daughter. God damn it! I'm
Hey,
trying
look
to
it.
help you out.
Isaac Cruz. Not too many times Gervonta Davis is the bigger man in the ring.
Yeah.
But when he fights Isaac Cruz on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, he will be the bigger man in the ring that night. So I found that real interesting that they kind of went a whole
They found
what
a
do you
straw
say?
weight. They found a straw weight for him to beat up.
Yeah. It's like they were finding Leo Santa Cruz seemed bigger than him, even though lighter, tall.
How is this a pay-per-view? What genius thought this was a pay-per-view?
What
Mario
genius thought that the
Barrios.
original was going to be a pay-per-view with fucking, Rolly, Rolando, and
Yeah,
Hank?
Raleigh, right?
How was that any better?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so he has like a 4-inch reach advantage on this young man, which I just find amazing when we call this dude T-Rex arms. And he has a height advantage of like 2 or 3 inches. So Gervonta will be the bigger man in the ring Sunday evening, and he should get the knockout, even though Isaac Cruz does come to fight. He is a little power puncher himself. I just don't know if he can get in the inside long enough to do damage on Davis.
Or take Davis's power.
Yeah, there you go.
I got
Not
a
a
dollar
good way.
says none of us watch it.
It's Sunday. I'm not going anywhere. I'm watching.
Well, yeah, because you don't watch football. I'm
We
just
just hope-
telling you.
We might not remember is what he thinks.
Yeah, it's not going to make air on Sunday by the time we record in the afternoon. I can safely tell you that. So, tonight there's boxing. This is more
I'm
time
already
than
planning work.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! I'd rather watch the evening football game, and I don't care if it's the Jets versus the Giants. For God's sakes, if I have my choice between that fight and a Jets-Giants game, which is possibly the least desirable football game at this moment, I'd still watch Jets-Giants over this fight. But I have two screens, so it's really not fair. I mean, I wanted to watch Metallica last night. You guys wanted me to watch that Fulton fight. So I watched Metallica on the big screen, and on the little screen I watched... and by the way, I'll post it up. Go to social media. You can see what the control room here in the studio looks like. But it's nice. It's, it's a pretty nice little studio these days when I'm home and not with a broken laptop. And then Andrew literally shitting on me about, yeah, bro, you can't just pull over at a Starbucks.
Well,
Yeah.
'cause you
What a fucking
heard him. He's like, "Oh, you
slam
guys
out of the
figured it
blue.
out."
It's like I'm driving back to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll do the show while I'm on the road. Like, no, what the fuck? I got this show. Come on now.
Dude, your plug's now plugged in all the way sometimes. Like, it floored me that you fucked me on technology. That was the best part of that slam. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm the one who puts and produces and cuts up this show every goddamn
I'm on a
week.
tablet.
That was strong. Going to the glass. That was
I'm actually pointed at the moon right now.
Rodman-esque, Andrew.
Did you put a aluminum foil antenna on it and raise it up?
Yeah.
Yes. I pointed at the ocean. Which way is that?
Wow. Hey, go to boxingtonight.io. Follow us on all the social media. Follow us on Facebook. That is our daily home, where you can find Andrew posting lots of stuff about Australia. In fact, we'll be dirtying and littering it all up this week with Australian posts. And I'll put all the different versions of Land Down Under that I found on YouTube that I didn't get to use in today's show in honor of Cam Soda Day. I will post 3 or 4 different versions of Land Down Under by Men at Work, you would think. I didn't get to use it in the show, and I went to the trouble of pulling those video clips, so I got to use them somewhere. I might as well put them on social media. Make sure you subscribe, click the like button, pass it along, share it with friends. We're hoping the show is a little more palatable for you, the casual fan. And if you didn't find it palatable, then I think I speak on behalf of these two guys as well. Well, fuck you. You don't know anything about boxing. This is a great show. Is that about encapsulate it for all of you? Miguel, why don't you take us out with some kind words today?
Oh, kind words?
I don't know, or angry. Listen,
no,
bro, go in there and relax, but knock them out.
Yeah, fuck them up, bro. We got something to do. Thank you for everybody for listening, of course, first and foremost. And I look forward to the fights this weekend. I hope everybody enjoys the fights. We will see you guys on Sunday.